Everybody to another episode of Porch Talk. This is episode 21.
We have Chance King with us tonight, former player at Twin Valley High School and current sophomore at Keene University on the men's basketball team there. And proud to say is my cousin. So, Chance, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I've wanted to get you on at some point ever since we started doing the players. We've just kind of been trying to roll through some of these high school players. But I touched base with you the other night and it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're glad you could come on this evening. You really kind of bailed us out. A lot of the high schools all of them have games tonight, it seems like. So we were trying to get all the high school that we could before their season kind of, comes to a close. And was going to try to get some college people later on, but it worked out. You were free tonight. They weren't, so we're gonna go ahead with you. You're our guinea pig on the college players. But anyway, I'll let Cameron shoot the first question. But just like we talked about before, man, just regular conversation. We're glad to have you. Go ahead, Cam.
I think that given the family that you're in, your childhood is particularly interesting to me because Jamar and all the rest of your family. I mean, I think everybody is ultra talented with you all. So yes, in a way, I do want to know about your childhood, kind of when you fell in love with it, but I also want to know how it was watching some of those greats around you and your family, and even outside of your family.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot. Obviously, loving basketball kind of is just DNA, I guess, with the family that I'm in. And Jamar did kind of give me a hint that I would get the question about when I fell in love with the game. And it actually kind of surprised me how difficult it was for me to pinpoint it because, when I was younger, like I enjoyed the game and I like enjoyed playing it and like watching everybody in the family play, but like I wouldn't say I was in love with it at the time. But like I still loved like going to watch Jamar play, going to watch Katie play, both in high school and college, and stuff like that. And then, funny enough, the moment I thought of like when my love for basketball probably peaked is I think it was Easter Day of 2012. The Knicks were playing the Chicago Bulls, and Carmelo Anthony had a 43-point performance, and he hit two big shots at the end of fourth quarter and overtime. And that's like probably the first moment that I can remember where like my love expanded beyond like just playing it and stuff with the family.
Cameron,
I remember that game.
We have a big Melo fan with us tonight.
Yeah. Hey, I remember that game. That was huge.
Despite my best efforts to change his mind over the years, it never happened.
That's better than LeBron, I guess.
We also have a Duke fan with us tonight. That's another thing that, despite any efforts, fell short.
That one's really interesting to me, considering your fanhood.
My whole family's Duke fans except for me and Katie.
Oh well.
And now Mark married into it, but
yeah,
they're all Duke fans. But we'll go back to Little League a little bit. Obviously, I remember watching you play. I guess your mom and dad coached Little League. I guess right, pretty much throughout. I remember they always were.
For my whole middle school and Little League.
Yeah, y'all had. Was it still the kind of the county thing where? I think I don't know if they still do it anymore or not, but it was still like that when you played, right? You just played local county teams in the Little League?
I don't think so because I don't remember ever playing Grundy like when I was in Little League like at all. Like we mainly just played Hurley, I think Council, Mount Mission, or like some of the big ones that I remember playing against anyway.
Yeah.
Who were some of the guys you played with? Because I know you're a little bit younger than me.
I played with like Trevor and Jordan Shelton, Tyler Keene. I was a grade below like Tyler Keene, Isaac Hampton, and Trevor was in my grade.
Y'all were pretty good. I mean, obviously all throughout, but I remember in Little League, y'all had a good little team around you. You remember like anything stick out about Little League in particular, or like was it more than just have a good time, or had you already had that that competitive thing where you hate you hate losing already at that age?
I would say around like my second or third grade years when it became like more about competitive. But one core memory I have of Little League is I think it was our K one year. We actually won the championship on a buzzer beater when I inbounded the ball and rolled it down the floor, and Trevor ran and scooped it up and shot it from about the free throw line and made it to win the championship.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a really
That's
cool
crazy.
story.
I
Yeah,
wish we had the
but
video of
around
that. That'd been cool to see.
yeah, I think there is video of it somewhere, but I can't remember. Like, I think it's like on a DVD at the house or something, maybe, but I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure.
Knowing your
Hey,
mom, I'd say she's probably got it on video somewhere.
I know that J. Morris talked about it a few times, and Mark had talked about it on his podcast. Uh, Growing up, I know BBF was a hot spot for a lot of pickup ball. Did you play a lot of pickup ball with, like, say, some of the old timers or Jamar and everybody? Did that help you any?
Oh, for sure. Both. I didn't play as much pickup at the BBF. I did play some there, but a lot of mine was either at the high school or at Council High School with Neil. I can't explain enough how much Old Timers at Council has done for me, just as a player in general, being able to go over there on Mondays and Wednesdays, and just it's really just helped me tremendously. I've been going since I was like, I can't remember the first time Jay Moore and Bob took me over there. I was probably like in eighth or ninth grade or something.
Yeah, he missed the kind of golden era of old timers at the BBF because he was a little young. And then by the time he got up, we didn't have enough to play really over there anymore, and we had started. I think me and Dad just decided just to go over to council every week because that's back when I was still trying to play a little bit, and um, like he said, he would come along and uh, I think it happens everywhere at a lot of these schools and old timer nights, but especially at council, Neil does a good job of making sure that if young kids show up, they get to play, and they're kind of they're not kind of shuffled off to the side or let skip and get in front of there's always young kids, or I won't say kids, but there's young you know young players and high school players that can get out and play over there. So shout out, like you said, shout out to him for making that a safe space, for lack of a better term, for players trying to develop and get better. I mean, it's one thing to go play, but when you go over there and then you could get ignored or just took advantage of, kind of from like a older, stronger people. When you're actually able to, them not let you do things, but kind of not, kind of go easy on you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like not just take it from you. It's a good spot for people to to get a lot of experience.
I know that I've been over a few times, and I'm not even a quarter of talented as what you two are. And even with that, Neil and them's always been super. Like, they were super supportive. Not just Neil, I mean all those guys that were there. They just throw you right in, and once you were on their team, they're like, "Hey, okay, go here, do that. Okay, I mean, that's all right. Shoot it again." I mean, it was for somebody that isn't in that as much as what you all are. I just I try to stay out of the way mostly, but it was really nice to feel that, and you can see the results. I mean, just like with you, I mean, all the success you're having, and several other players. So I think it's awesome that we have that in the area. We don't really have it as much at the BBF anymore, but having Neil over there, it's still special. Uh, just kind of going up into JV a little bit. When you started going into high school, at least with basketball and stuff, what are some of the changes you notice? Maybe speed or just coaching, or I think a lot of people have alluded to the fact that it's a little bit more stressful when you start getting into high school, even with it being JV.
Yeah, for sure. Especially getting to the JV level. I mean, I didn't notice too much of a difference going from, like, I guess you could say like eighth, seventh, and middle school ball to JV. But the jump from JV to varsity was pretty noticeable. And like you said, the pressure of JV was still obviously escalated from seventh grade or middle school ball. But yeah, it was a big change, especially from JV to varsity, just the speed of it and just having to adjust to that more than anything, I would say.
Who coached you in JV?
8th grade year it was Jeff, and then my 9th grade year it was Beefy.
Okay, I thought you played for Jeff for a year. I couldn't remember, but I know what that's like, and you know what that's like. I wish more people were able to know, what that's like, because um, if there's ever a coach that puts can get the maximum potential out of players, it's Jeff. Um, Talk a little bit about what that year was like playing for him on JV.
Absolutely. And that's one thing, like when talking with friends about my high school years and stuff, was I'll talk about some of the people on that team that he made like good basketball players, and then like the next year like they didn't even play, like simply put, just because he knew like what people's strengths were, and he knew exactly what positions to put them in to make them maximize those strengths and potentials. And and a lot of people always think that getting coached by a family member is like easy mode for me, but he was probably harder on me than he was anybody else. I mean, like he was never too hard on me, but like he always wanted the best out of me, and he wasn't going to beat around the bush about it and make it easier for me. He treated me just as hard as on me as he was everyone else, and that's a big part of the reason I was able to develop as much as I did that year.
Yeah. I guarantee you learned more in that year than you did any other years in high school and JV.
For sure. I was going to say that too, yeah.
I almost guarantee that's a fact. But yeah, I mean, I never officially played a high school or JV, team. But he's coached AU teams and stuff like that, and I'm like you said, he's not going to treat you any different. But it's a good not treating you different. It's obviously and like you said, just developing and like finding he can look at he knows what, like you said, push buttons or whatever, but he knows how to look at a kid and know he can get this out, and know when a player's maybe not got not a good offensive player, but doesn't mean you just not play him. He can get that defense and push him to do that, and get that out of him, or just anything. It's really good how he does that with at all levels too, all age levels. He's done that, but um, that JV year, well, but either year, your 8th and 9th grade year, did y'all win a JV championship any of those years?
We won the BDD my 9th grade year. We beat Honaker at Twin Valley, and that was a pretty cool experience. Was winning it on our home floor, and that was the first time that we beat Honaker in either year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a pretty big deal for us and a really good moment to have. But we never made it to the regional JV tournament, I don't think.
I didn't know there was a regional JV tournament.
There was at the time. I think they might have altered how it works, but I'm not sure.
I wish we'd have had a regional JV tournament. We'd been really good in my 8th grade.
Yeah. When you go getting prepared for varsity and stuff, I know you said you developed a lot. So did you play a lot there in JV? Start? Did you kind of have to earn your spot?
I definitely had to earn it. One thing that, and it has nothing to do with anybody except myself, just because in between my 8th and 9th grade year, I didn't actually like do a lot of work on my own, and I ended up like losing my jump shot like the way it was my 8th grade year. So my 9th grade year, my jump shot wasn't how I wanted it to be, and it was different from how it was my 8th grade year. So that kind of put some struggles on me scoring wise my 9th grade year. Just not having my jumper where I wanted it. I mean, I made it work a little bit, but it wasn't until the summer in between my 9th grade year and my 10th grade year where I finally started going back in the gym again. And I literally, funny enough, it was at a pickup session at the high school in between games once. And I finally, I took a shot and it felt like it used to, and it felt good again. And I made like 5 in a row, and I was like, okay, I'm back in business now.
I know, we all have like things we wish we'd worked on a little more than we did other things. Did you go into like any summers or anything thinking I got to specifically work on one thing, or was it all the time just kind of like, let me do a little bit of everything? Because I know
I always did a little bit of. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was always a little bit of everything. probably more focused on shooting than anything, I would say. If there was one thing that I wish I worked more on, it would always be ball handling now. That's one thing that I wish I did a lot more work on, just because it is invaluable, especially at the college level now, is the need for, and with how the game is revolutionizing to pretty much almost positionless at this point, is the need for ball handling. And, being 6'3" in Buchanan County, I'm playing the center spot, but in college, I'm, a wing. So there's a lot bigger need for ball handling here than there was in high school. And I wish I just spent more time then working on ball handling.
That in the weight room, he was skinny Cam for a while.
Yeah.
It took him a minute to get some weight on them on that frame. But
yeah. Watching Jay Morris, if you alluded to it earlier, watching him growing up, even when I was growing up, we knew the tradition at Twin Valley that Jay Moore and that group and the groups after him had set. Did you feel a little bit of weight trying to carry that on? Especially with it being a family member, it means a little more, I think.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it definitely just makes you want to perform at your best, as much as you can. And I really feel like our sophomore and junior year, we had some real potential as a team with the guys that we had, the grade above me and the grade below me. And we never quite maxed out that potential for certain reasons. And it's one thing I really wish that we could have figured out somehow and got to work, because I really think that the groups that we had those 2 years were really special and really could have done something.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly which year. Which year was it y'all went beat Chilhowie? I think it was over in Chilhowie in the region.
That was my junior year.
Yeah, y'all had a good team that year. I thought that team could have had a good chance at making a run at it, a little far, especially farther than what they got. But yeah, y'all had you and who was that? Tyler Kane and who am I? I know I'm leaving people off. Trevor and Noah, and
Brandon and Noah.
Brandon Lester, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Isaac Hampton.
Isaac Hampton. Yeah, y'all had a good team. Had a decent bench. I mean, that could have been. Talk about that year, because I guess that was really the last year that Twin Valley, from what I remember, had a legit chance at winning the region. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not saying that knocking anybody, but I mean, from what I remember, unless I'm misremembering, I think that was the last real chance they had at winning the region championship.
Oh no, you're 100% right, because the drop off after my junior was pretty significant with who we lost and what we had left, and it was just, we genuinely had 6 people capable of starting. Like, we had a really good 6-man rotation. I believe our junior year we even had Wade too, and he was another good backup point guard for us. And we had a lot of good pieces that year, and I just really think that we ended up losing to, I think, Burton in the semis of region. I think we let them go on. We let like the same guy hit 3 or so threes on the same spot, and we just never recovered. Like, they just kept it at 10 to 12 the entire game, and we never cut it to anything lower, but it never got any higher. So we pretty much played on par with them the rest of the game, except for that one spurt. And it's just mistakes like that really cost us, and I really wish that things would have went differently.
Year, sorry, go ahead, Kim.
Well, I was just going to ask, was it Coach Ward? Was that your coach that year?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I'll let you go ahead, Maura, and ask your question.
Who won the region that year? Was that when Grundy was?
I don't think Grundy also lost. Grundy did really good the year after, I believe. I think they also lost in the semis. We lost to Burton and they lost to Eastside, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right. I guess just going, I mean, kind of go back to the tradition of playing Twin Valley. I've been wanting to ask somebody this. We've not had a chance to get anybody on yet that was far enough removed from when I played, or in a couple of years after. But coming out to Inner Sandman, was there ever any talk with like the groups that you all had that was so far removed from that original team that did that? Was there any talks about changing that ever that you know of? and doing a different song or?
Actually, there was like never any discussions of changing it. I think we all loved it as much as
Yeah,
you guys probably did. Like
I've
the
always
only
I've always
person,
wondered about that.
yeah, funny enough, my dad didn't say we should change it, but he just asked me. He's like, "Do you guys ever?" He asked the same question you guys did. He's like, "Do you guys ever like think about changing it up and coming out to something different?" And I just told him no. We never even considered it because
Yeah,
we all enjoyed it just as much.
I don't know if they still do that or not, but yeah, it's funny how it just kind of kept going. Like it was kind of like our thing, and then I guess there's been so many people left over from the years. Um, you have younger ninth and 10th graders playing up on varsity, and then when they get to be seniors and they graduate, you have ninth and 10th graders play with them, so they want to keep. It's just interesting to see how that's been stayed there that long. Um, but that's interesting. I'm glad you all kept doing it. I think it's pretty cool.
I think that you have a lot of people that grew up watching like you guys and the teams afterwards, and um, those little things like even I don't know if they still play wagon wheel or not, but I know when I was in high school they did,
They
and
did when we were in high school too.
yeah, so I mean those little things it may seem silly to a lot of people, but it's kind of part of the tradition in an odd way.
The pail that y'all didn't get to do the pail though, right? Because
No,
Coach
we
Moore
didn't do
took that.
anything with the pail.
Yeah, that I mean that's a different conversation for another day. But did you all have any kind of traditions that year that was just specific to your team? Maybe some pregame uh, superstitions or anything that you think of from your time?
We weren't really a superstitious team, we just said your typical prayer before the game, all glory to God and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and praying before and after every game. The only real superstition that any of us really did was, I guess, anytime when we locked out of the locker room, there were 3 signs. I guess it was just 2 signs in the top of the door, really, but everybody on the way out would touch both signs and then tap the top of the door frame as we walked out. That's really as far as any superstitions went.
In the
Um,
words of Matthew Baldwin, I'm not a little stitches, or I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitches.
Little.
Um, I think that's
that's
how
pretty
it was. But we would. I like to think I'm not superstitious, but we would always. I can't remember if he had to get taped right before me, or if I had to get taped, my ankles taped right before him. But I do know that whichever foot he got done first, I got the opposite done first. I think. So we may have been a little superstitious when I was playing, but go ahead, Cam. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
You're good. I wanted to kind of ask him, going into your senior year and stuff, uh, recruiting wise, was you already starting to get some looks, or was that something that throughout the year and into the off season you had to kind of gradually work on and start making contact with?
I actually really didn't dabble in recruiting much at all, to be honest with you. I did it a little bit at the start of my sophomore year, trying to get a head start on it when Jory was my assistant coach, and he helped me get started with it. And then after he took the job at Grundy, I kind of just never really bothered keeping up with it. Uh, I really wish I did. No, I never really even didn't give it as much as I should have while I was in high school.
Your senior year ended a game at Northwood, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who'd y'all play? Was it Northwood you played, or was it?
Yeah, it was Northwood at Northwood.
Okay, I can just specifically remember one of the best games I've ever seen you play. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that was one, or maybe it was one at Lebanon. Did you play at Lebanon one year?
It was you're probably thinking of the one my sophomore year at Northwood.
Okay, maybe that's the one. I can't remember. I thought it was your senior year, but so you get that was the quarterfinals, I guess, of the region that year, the first round in the
Mm-hmm.
region senior year. So going off of the a little bit better showing your junior year, going into your senior year, and then getting out early. But at that point, like you said, as far as college goes, when that buzzer went off for that last game, did you ever at that time did you think you'd play again in college, or at the time did you think that might be your last time putting a jersey on?
At the time, I would say more than anything, it was just filled with uncertainty because I really didn't know for sure. And
Yeah,
I made sure to, take in the moment in case it was and, just celebrate what I had done my years in high school. But yeah, there was a lot of uncertainty surrounding it. And then there would become even more once COVID hit, obviously.
yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna say
but
you
yeah,
got
it was,
you graduated the COVID year, right? That was your senior
yeah.
year. Yeah. Go
What
ahead.
was that like going through that? Because I know we've had a few athletes on here that have played during it, but it was when they were, I mean, it was when they were first getting up into varsity. So, I mean, that was your senior year. So, how was that? I mean, we all know how we felt about it, but we wasn't playing sports at
Yeah.
the time.
It really I'm lucky that the season got to finish with before it started. Um, Obviously, I'm as much as any high school kid probably was at that time. I'm like, oh, 2 weeks from school off, for this new virus that they think is going to be something big, and then it turned out to end the year like 3 months early. Ended my high school run 3 months early, and I ended up graduating. But yeah, it really just it threw a wrench into everything because I really just didn't know what I wanted to do. If I wanted to go to college, if I wanted to do online, uh, yeah, it really was just something else. Not getting like proper graduation and everything.
Yeah.
No senior trip, anything like that. It was really, really something.
Cause you was you valedictorian or salutatorian?
I was third.
Third. Okay. I was gonna give you a shout out for that. I knew you were up there pretty high. He
Uh,
he got that part of the family. I didn't. Him and Katie got the
yeah.
brains. I got skipped out somehow on that part, man. I ask Dad all the time how it's just what happened here because family full of smart people and they skipped me. I don't know what happened.
Kind of touching on the COVID thing a little bit again, starting with the whole process of talking to colleges and stuff like that. With it being COVID, did you have like a lot of workouts and was there an opportunity for them to see you in person play? Because I know, given the fact that everything was kind of shut down, uh, I don't know. I'm curious on what and all they were able to do besides just watching film to learn more about you.
Well, funny enough, coming out of high school and shortly after COVID hit, I kind of did just, and when I decided that I wasn't going to attend a college on campus because of COVID, I honestly thought my career was over, to be completely honest with you. And I just didn't think that the opportunity would ever arise again for me to play. And I actually ended up by June of 2021, I started I wanted a personal goal of losing weight because I was like 250 pounds from just weight gain during COVID. And uh, shouts out to Derek Hess, who was a personal trainer with me and did a little weight stuff with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, on top of getting back to playing old timers Mondays and Wednesdays. And within a span of like 3 months, I believe at the end of August, I had already lost 50 pounds. And so that was one thing I did. And then shortly after that, I believe it was around April of 2022, it was just a tournament over at Council that Neil was putting on. And I don't know what it was in the gym that day, but like just something just hit me in the atmosphere of the gym that day that really like relit my love for basketball in a sense and really got me wanting to play it again. And that's really where my journey started to wanting to try and play college basketball again.
So your first how did King come about? Was that just a school that you had you kind of knew you wanted to go to? Academically and what you was going to what you wanted to study, or was it you decided to walk on there, or how did you make that decision?
Well, when I made the decision after going to the tournament at Council, I just really honestly just started working as hard as I could, started doing more actual workouts again for myself. And then I honestly just emailed as many head coaches as I could. Obviously, King was the first one I sent out because, it's somewhat close to home. It's got pretty good academics and stuff like that, and programs that I was interested in. And lucky enough, Coach Gillespie was the only one that even bothered responding to my email and talked about a spot on the developmental team, and that's really where things took off from there.
So yeah, you're there. Played like you said. Is that what they call it, the developmental?
Yeah,
So,
it's essentially like a JV team.
Yeah, that's what we always called it when I was, playing. But yeah, so how that year there? I remember watching you obviously, but I'll hear it from you. How did you feel like that year went from the start to the finish? As far as you getting better, developing, and how do you feel it went?
It's definitely without a shadow of a doubt the biggest change in pace from game. Like even remembering how high school was to that, uh, even from developmental to varsity, the gap isn't as big as what it was from high school to playing on this developmental team. And
Yeah, and
it
you
took
had
a
a whole
lot of
year off.
adjusting. Yeah, I did take
So
a full year or two.
yeah,
But I mean, even from when I was like, from what I remember of high school, this was still
yeah,
much, much quicker. And it's really different, especially like I said, position changes and like having to alter the way you play essentially. And everybody in the gym is talented as can be. And just getting to, compete every day with guys who love the game is really fun to do.
Uh, I know that Mark talked about it quite a bit. Playing at Twin Springs and then going up to King, the style of play was a lot different. So the style that you played at Twin Valley and then going up to King, even in the developmental league, was it a big change? Did y'all speed it up a lot, or was it similar to what y'all did in high school?
Definitely a lot different. We had the offense that we put in for both teams is a lot more free flowing, I would say. Like not necessarily like set plays. I mean, we obviously have a lot of set plays too, but like our main like 5 out is just like free flowing into stuff. Like, if you pass it here, ball screen it, or like follow a ball screen or follow a handoff with a ball screen, just things like that, and just get into a free flow and just being basketball players, just things like that. And it really does open things up, and it just allows for good players to create things, and it's really really fun to be in.
One of my favorite memories. I don't know what you call them, memory or whatever, but videos. And I got you on video at one of those games, um, hitting I don't know 2 or 3 threes in a row. But what I loved about it was I guess it was the actual varsity team at the time going nuts when you're going hitting 2 or 3 in a row. And I sent that to you. We had a laugh about it, but. Is that as far as is there much interaction? And you're on the varsity team now, which we'll get to in a minute. But was there much interaction there? Like y'all practice? How does practice go? Y'all practice separate? Did y'all practice together? Or
Well, for fall stuff preseason, we did weights and conditioning together. We didn't do our. There was normally a 45-minute like skill work session that we did separately, but all of our strength and conditioning were done together. So that's where a lot of us bonded. But during the season, things are entirely separate from each other.
yeah, but they still obviously know each other
Yeah,
well enough to know. So that was cool to see. Them getting excited for you. Um, but speaking of going up, when did you find out this year that you were going to be up on the varsity team?
it it's the craziest story. It is the Sunday before the first day of classes, and we're having our start of the year team meeting. And Coach Gillespie calls everyone to the Hall of Fame room upstairs in the student center, and he's just going through like everything he did the year before when I was here, just like this list of like what's expected from you and like style of play and things like that, and what you're willing to do. And he goes on about everything, and he starts talking. He starts going on about people who have been moved up from the developmental team, and he talked about a guy in the first year who got called up after he played a year and played on varsity. He talked about 2 guys last year that got called up and played one halfway through the year. And then he just says there's one person getting called up and he doesn't even know it yet. And and when he said it, I'm like, he's not talking about me. Like I kind of brushed it off. And he starts naming off these attributes about the person, and saying they always reach out to us ahead of time if there's like a scheduling conflict. He never always shows up on time. And then what gave it away was he said the first day we did a 2-mile, I couldn't even finish the thing. And I was like, he's talking about me. And then he said it, and it was unbelievable. It was really emotional. And I was in shock. Probably the most genuinely shocking moment of my life was that night.
I figured one of the things he said was, this guy looks like a young Adam Morrison from Played Gonzaga. Maybe give it away, but yeah, that's a cool moment. It's kind of like one of those you're on scholarship videos you see at these football programs when they surprise them or whatever. I wish we'd have had a video of that. That was your reaction. That'd be cool to have. But yeah, talk about what that's been like. Just a change, and obviously, everything's different now. Practices, games, traveling, there. So just talk about that for us a little bit.
It's completely different. It's almost a 7 days a week thing now. Mainly 6, but I mean, practicing all through Christmas break too was probably the biggest difference. Last year on developmental, I had pretty much a full month off from like January the 3rd up until the next semester started. And then this year on varsity, I'm practicing at least 6 days a week and traveling to games in, North Carolina and Georgia. It's just been such a huge change, and one for the better. I've really enjoyed it and getting to play with these guys on varsity, and it's really just been a fun change of pace.
Well, it's and Jay Moore kind of talked about it too. It's super impressive. I mean, it's not something that people don't realize just how few players get out from the high school level onto the college level, and then to get where you're at now, it's super impressive. So congratulations to you on that, and I know I know I'll hear about a lot of Jamar, just how you continue to get better and better. So we don't want to hold you up for forever tonight, but I do want to ask you, and something we ask a lot of high school kids, and I want to ask you too, just some motivation, something that you carry with you while you're playing.
First things foremost, biggest motivation is always just playing in the image of God and always just acting in his image and trying to do things the way that I think he would want me to do. Secondly is obviously my brother. Every time I step on the floor, I have him in my mind and just want to play for him. And then, I also was just thinking about it. I don't think about it all the time, but there's always, anytime things get down, I always just think about how fortunate I really am. And how much other people would love to be in the spot that I'm in, people out there, can't walk or things like that. And just how fortunate we really are to be able to do certain things and just things of that nature. And it just really makes me realize how blessed I am.
When you can't walk after that 2 mile, you realize that eventually you will be able to get back up again. Puts it in perspective. I got the question I ask everybody is pregame, or if you don't want to do pregame, you can do traveling whenever. But right before the pregame, getting ready to go out. What do you have in your earbuds getting ready for a game? What music you listen to?
Surprisingly enough, I'm really not a music person before games, believe it or not. This season, I've ironically enough been a music away from coming back home from games. I don't know why. But a lot of times, I listen to all different kinds of music. There's not really one genre that I really am partial to. I've been listening. I've always been a big fan of Logic. He's been one of my favorite artists in my life, and a lot of his songs are really good to me to get me pumped or just chill for rides back from these colleges that are 3-4 hours away.
I recommend a good audio book right there. That'd be a good time to. You can get all kinds of reading done on them road trips.
Anytime we traveled anywhere, I just get a lot of sleep in.
I think that's probably why I don't listen to music on the way to games.
Yeah.
It's because
That's the
I'm
best nap
sleeping.
you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you before you got off here, just to shine another, not just about basketball, but what are your and I thought the camera would find this interesting. I think I kind of have an idea about what the answer is, or maybe you've changed it since the last time I talked to you. But what are you majoring in and wanting to go into?
Well, my major is sports management, and it's a pretty all-encompassing major of just anything pertaining to sports. But my main dream job has always been to be a sports broadcaster in some capacity.
So when you make it big, you'll come back on our show, right?
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
what I was getting at here. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right.
Yeah, we got these things saved, so we got the receipts.
Video proof.
Yeah, video proof.
I wish we had time to do some NBA trivia. Can you be amazed at the trivia this in here will throw out?
I don't know. I have him on Facebook and stuff. I see the stuff. Yeah,
he's an encyclopedia for sports, especially NBA knowledge. But
yeah, we'll definitely have to get you back on, even for just a like a boys join the porch episode or something like that. Like especially around playoff time, we'll get you on here and start talking.
For sure. Fun fact: Luka scored 73 tonight, so that's one.
That's what we were talking about.
We just said that, yeah. Before
oh, really?
yeah. After he had the back and forth with the reporter, did you see that? So he got kicked out of a game, and I guess according to Luka, he put out a false report that whatever the fan said wasn't that bad, so it made Luka look bad for getting the fan kicked out. And they had a back and forth after the game. Luka was telling the reporter that, man, you always write bad stuff about me. Every game is something bad about me. so now he dropped 70-some. So that's pretty crazy. But, man, I appreciate you coming on. Jay Moore alluded to it a little bit before, saying that, every single high school team's playing tonight. But I'm not saying that in a way that it was a bad thing. He had talked about having you on. And I'm super excited. I was super excited to have you on, and I'm super excited to get the episode out here so everybody can hear your story.
For sure, it was a real pleasure being on here. And like I told him, I was really hoping that he would ask me eventually because I really like what you two are doing, and I think the podcast as a whole is just awesome. And I love seeing the clips of it on Facebook and stuff.
No, we were always going to get you on. Like I said, we really were just kind of waiting, trying to get all the high schoolers we could, on while they're still playing. But yeah, I just want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. The level, keep going up levels and the work you put in. Just keep going. I love you, and holler at me anytime you need anything. And Dad wanted me to tell you that now that you're wanted everybody out there to know now that this is out there for everybody to hear, that he'll finally stop taking it easy on you in one-on-one games and really actually play hard. So next time y'all get together, but I'll leave you with that, and y'all can take that up between yourselves next time you see him.
Okay.
I just want to say, thanks for coming on, man. Like I said, I'm proud of you and I love you.
For sure, love you too.
All right, man, that was awesome. I think it was that was a really interesting interview we had with him, given the fact that one, it's a college player, but two, it's also another family member, part of that great basketball family you got over there. So I liked hearing some some stuff like that.
Like I said, he's the epitome of not quitting on your dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
The COVID year, not getting looked at out of high school and stuff, and having to deal with what I had to put up with in high school, and then coming out of high school with that COVID year, like I said, not doing it, not having really any kind of options right there right away, and then, like he said, gain some weight, and then decided to get it off, and basketball being part of that helped, and then just getting back into it and deciding. Because it would have been very easy for him just to, go to Southwest for a couple of years, get it, go to a 4-year. Like very one of the smartest kids I've ever been around. Like, very smart, very intelligent. Could go wherever he wanted to as far as that goes. But it would have been the easy route. Played pickup ball a few nights a week. Go to Southwest a couple of years and transfer, go somewhere else. But just wanted to play basketball still. That's so to keep doing that and keep pursuing that and then get moved up. Like I said, I think he's technically still just a sophomore, so he's got 2 more years. I'm looking forward to keep working and seeing maybe get more playing time as they go along, and I hope I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many people that honestly that isn't like, okay, you're getting recruited in like your senior year, like the whole year that you're probably going to play college basketball somewhere. You leave from there, you go to head. Like you may have signed somewhere. You go into summer workouts, going into the season. There's not many athletes, especially in this area, that go from your senior year to being, in his mind, above the weight that he wanted to be in, to then working himself by gaining a trainer, working himself to lose weight, and then to get over to King. Like that to me, that was one of the most impressive things I heard the whole interview. Because I know coming out of high school, I mean, I had surgery and stuff like that, but I mean, regardless, you come out of high school, it's kind of like, I didn't have that drive, man, not like he does.
Well,
that's why. I mean, it's super impressive.
Especially do online for a year, and then
during COVID and all that.
You get used to doing that, and then you can you don't have to like I said, he didn't take the easy route of just going. He knew he wanted to play ball, so he went and made it happen. And somebody who didn't, I don't know what he averaged in high school in stats. He wasn't like an all region player and stuff like that. I'm sure he made some kind of all district team and maybe even made the all region something along the way. But as far as like those high level standouts, didn't have those numbers. You know what I'm saying? But like was always a solid player. Just I always aggravated him about him needing to get in the weight room, but other than that, very could shoot good and very intelligent and stuff like that. But just didn't jump off the paper as like your like whatever the word is for like college player, and just to see him put all the work in that's been required of him to get to the point where he's at now. It's just really cool to see it for him. I'm really happy for him. Like I said, he doesn't get to play a lot this year on the moving up. He still moved up. They have to do that. You know what I mean? So then next year, you keep doing it. And even if he don't ever get to start or play, a whole lot of minutes, he'll know that he did everything he could do in the meantime, and he'll still be playing basketball in college while he's getting a degree. So I'm proud of him, man. I couldn't be more proud of him. His brother Josh obviously taken away too soon, but would have he would have went and played probably college ball. But Josh, he's my best friend. I just think I should have told Chance this when he was on here, but his brother will be very, very proud of him. I know it. I know that. So there's always, I know it's always got to be in the back of his head. So it's always in my head. So I couldn't imagine, that. But so for him to do what he's doing, shout out to him. He's not just because it's my cousin, but I think it's super impressive.
Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, we can talk all night on Chance and the work he's put in. And honestly, if you're a coach, if you could have a whole roster full of kids like that, you'd be sitting pretty good. We do have some special things going on for the rest of this episode. It's a little bit different than how we have been doing it. We are going to run through real quick just a few of the games I have listed here for this week. Pretty much like rapid fire at this point. We'll probably just run through them. I was going to say we do have a lot of our people that's been on the boys Join the Porch. If you guys have watched those, they're all going to hop on here and they're going to talk about some of their high school days. So a little bit different of an episode, a little bit of reminiscent, I guess. And we're going to talk about the playoff games this week as well. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, we're going to all go ahead and throw out our sponsors before we continue going forward. One of our sponsors is Wyatt Pole Holders. If you have fishing poles that you would like to display safely on the wall or just need a way to get them off the floor, Wyatt Pole Holders has what you need. So on Etsy, he has a nice selection of fishing racks to fit your needs. Pine, oak, and poplar are just some of the wood used to craft these beautiful racks. Engravings are also available upon request.
If you live in Southwest Virginia, Southern West Virginia, or Eastern Kentucky and find yourself looking for an equipment rental, give Cantrell Holdings Equipment Rentals a call at 276-596-3078. They have excavators, backhoes, loaders, and jackhammers available. They have equipment for any job, big or small. Give their Facebook page a like. They also do not random, but they'll do some giveaways for people on their Facebook page. Draw people out, so that comes and goes. So that's a perk of liking their Facebook page, and you can learn more about their operator services. Again, Cantrell's. Lost the spot. What did I say? Cantrell Holdings Equipment Rental. 276-596-3078. I butchered that, so let's move on from that real quick.
Well, I was going to say, send whenever you go to get a rental from them, tell them that Porch Talk sent you.
Yeah, tell them Porch Talk sent you.
Yep. I don't know what your promo code's going to be, but maybe Newton 2024. Be a good one, wouldn't it? He likes Cam Newton. I mean, we can roll with that.
No, I don't want it to be good. I want it to be bad.
Oh, you want it to be good?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, I want it to be good. Promo code. Use promo code Young Prince.
Young Prince. Young Prince. Well, I'm just going to run through a few of these high school games this week. There's a ton of them that's going on right now, which may be over with by now, but we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the games this week, and we'll have the guys jumping on anytime. So just to kind of do the rundown so far this week on varsity girls, we had Holston pick up a big win this week. This win for Holston, Riley Cobbler, I hope I'm saying that right, scored a dozen points. They ended up beating Northwood 42-17. And then not only that, but we also got Taylor Clay, who came on last week for the pod, which is a great episode. If y'all haven't watched it yet, her and Eastside, they ended up beating Thomas Walker 58-48, and Clay had 16 points in that game. Abingdon, they beat Christiansburg 52-36. Ansel Trivet, she made 3 3-pointers in that game and ended up getting 20 points to lead the way there. Me and Jamar talked about this a little bit earlier, but another star that's coming up right now in our area, Farai Cove, Kaylee Lamb, she had 25 points in their win against Twin Springs. They won 55-42. I think they had a pretty good write-up about her over there. I think it was in the Time News, I believe, if I'm remembering that right. But she's doing great things there.
From all the scores that I've seen, I've not paid, I've not followed it in a whole lot of detail, but it seems like from all the scores that I've seen, it's the Cumberland Girls District in Single A may be the deepest district.
Yeah.
Obviously you have your Honecker and I think it's Rural Retreat and the other good girls team, or is it Rycove? Chilhowie. I know it's Rural Retreat, I think. Honecker and Rural Retreat out of the Hogle Higgy that are obviously, you see the scores and could be good, obviously. And then you have, Grundy Council and Twin Valley all in the Black Diamond. Grundy's got the edge there so far this year. But as far as districts goes, I think in Single A, especially that Cumberland district is, it's pretty deep, it seems like, because even your top 2 teams seem to have close competitive games with some of those other third, fourth, and fifth teams, for the most part.
Yeah, I think that another one that you mentioned. Well, you talk about the Cumberland. I think a lot of people, we've been talking about East Side so much, and we've been talking about Burton so much. Rye Cove is just kind of just flew under the radar a little bit.
Well, they've got losses to East Side,
yeah,
but they
yeah, but
did
they
beat
beat
Burton.
Burton.
That's
They
right.
beat
Yeah, they
Burton.
did
That's what I'm
beat
saying though.
Burton.
There's still there's a lot of
Yeah.
talent there,
Yeah,
and
so they are kind of just kind of holding back there, laying back, waiting. Like all it take. I don't know if they played. I don't know if they've played Burton again yet. I mean, all it takes is that one upset to them get East Side or somebody else get somebody here along the way, and you have a 3-way tie.
yeah,
Next thing you know, that could be total chaos in that district at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, the tournament is going to be very exciting at the
Mm-hmm.
end. Riverview, West Virginia beat Hurley 60-38, but Brianna Stacy had 11 points for Hurley in that one. Then we had a little bit outside of our immediate area, but Graham and Bluefield played. Graham ended up beating Bluefield 41-32, and according to the paper, it is believed that the Graham girls team is their first 3-game win streak in over a decade.
Wow.
So congratulations there. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting to see that. And then not only that, but I think you was at the game the other night. Honaker girls won 55-9, which I thought was a very eye-popping score. But I mean, Honaker won that one. Good spread out scoring. It seemed like they had 4 players that had double figures in that game. And I think that you could probably talk about it a little bit. You was there for that one, wasn't you? Or did you make it there in time for it?
I got there in the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay.
Of the girls' game.
Yeah. Well, still, yeah. I mean, Misty over there, she's doing great. I think that maybe it's just the circles that we're in. I want to say they're flying under the radar by no means. Everybody knows what they got, but it seems like not a lot of people's been talking about Honaker. I mean, I guess they're just meeting expectations. But it seems to be there's a lot of talk, like you said, over in the Cumberland district more than anything.
I think a lot of the talk over the Cumberland district was because of what happened there for a minute. They got a big light on them, but a lot of that was because of what happened. If that hadn't happened, it might have been just more of a regular, let's talk about these teams, these good games. I think that's kind of how maybe all the attention got took there for a minute. Obviously, good teams. I still think that district from top to bottom is the best one. So that too is why they're talking about them. But yeah, Honaker's just. They're beating people so bad. Another thing, they're not having any. There's no real highlight games to point out here when they're playing. Region other single A schools in the region and stuff. So they're on cruise control right now. I don't care who you're playing. It's hard to hold a high school team to under single digit points. So they're doing in classic Coach Miller team, very good defensively. Move the ball and share it on offense. They're obviously I think the favorite, and them. I don't know if they're obviously the favorite or not, but they're obviously one of the favored 4, to be the Final Four teams, to be there in region. So,
yeah, for sure. And jump into boys real quick before the guys get on. Ridgeview and Grundy had a heck of a game the other day. Went to overtime. Ridgeview ended up coming away with it 77-70. Ryan Oakland. Go ahead.
I almost went to this.
Oh, well, it would have been a good one to go to, I think.
I thought you said the score would be done, but I almost went, and I said, it's just the boys. It's not a quad, so I wanted to get a look at Ridgeview's teams because I hadn't watched any of them play yet. I think the girls are pretty good, but I was like, just two, JV boys, JV varsity boys. It'd be a quick trip over. It's a long way drive. Wish I'd have went now. Yeah, if I known they were going to have a instant classic over there, I'd have made the drive.
Yeah, for sure. And a little bit of history was made the other night too. Ryan O'Quinn, he ended up breaking the school record for rebounds by Cannon Hill. Had it before. He had his 621st rebound. So congratulations to him on that. Heck of a game. Grundy, Caleb Conaway, he had 24 points for them. Jonah Looney has 16 points, 7 rebounds. So I mean, that would have been a heck of a game to go to. So,
Yeah.
not to make you feel any worse, but Twin Springs beat Rye Cove 57-39. Clay Ross had 21 points. Jacoby Dunn and Kilgore, they both had 9 as well. So that was a good game. That was a good win there for Twin Springs. Hurley boys fell to Riverview 59-49. But important note in that game, Landon Bailey ended up having 19 points, and he hit his 1,000 points in that game. So congratulations to Landon on hitting 1,000. Eastside boys ended up beating Thomas Walker 53-46. Pretty close one there. Ben Sutherland for Eastside had 20 points, and Williams for them had 11. So a close one there. It was only a 7-point game between them two. But one that I wanted to get to before the guys jump on, and in particular because you was there, was the Honaker and Lebanon basketball game the other night. They had played twice already, and the last one before this one, Lebanon had won in overtime, which was a heck of a game. Reese had a heck of a game. So they traveled over here to Honaker a few days ago, and it wasn't as close this time around, 62-32. So talk about that game a little bit. You was there for it.
Yeah, I was very surprised with how the other two games had went and the scores I had seen. Was very surprised about the margin on this one. Honaker's size ultimately was a big factor. They were able to get basically when they took their time and got waited and looked for good shots, they got them. They both play extremely fast. So I mean, very rarely was a lot of offense. Stop, slow it up, and run it. When they did, they were they usually got a pretty good shot. It's weird. As I was watching it, I didn't think Lebanon played that bad. I guess it is between turnovers and them probably a little cold shooting. I guess Honaker took advantage of it and jumped out to a big lead. If I'd have been watching the game and not looking at the scoreboard, I wouldn't have guessed it was that bad. I wouldn't, obviously wouldn't have known Honaker had a lead, but the King kid playing at Honaker was the biggest difference. Lebanon had nobody to. You could put Reese on him, but he's probably going to get in foul trouble at some point if you do that. So just the size difference really was what really set it apart for him. I mean, Honaker had that kid come off the bench and hit his first 4 threes he shot, I think, which gave him a big boost. Yeah, it's just I was very surprised because of how the previous games had went, but Honaker looked good. Like I said, I think Lebanon had the night before had put up like 101 points against Richlands.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think burn all their gas up that game.
Yeah,
I don't know,
blowout win too. I think it was about maybe 40-some points or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And I think Honaker came in there with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder after their previous meeting, and then not only that, but they had a heck of a weekend against George Wythe and some tough teams out that way. And sometimes you play a team like that, it makes you better. I know they had some injuries and people out during that as well, but sometimes you can build from that. So I think that led into the game they had the other night. And, this is getting here to this big stretch during the later part of the year, but we still got a lot left to go. But I think right now you're starting to see them get healthy or healthier, and we'll see what we'll see if that win catapults them into maybe a good winning streak they can build off of.
The only, like, obviously I'm not with those teams every day, so I'm not sure what they, how they do from game to game. The only thing I would, if I was Lebanon, I would try to play through Reese more, as far as on offense. Like, maybe they usually do. Maybe Honecker took it away. I don't know. But it was like, I don't remember him getting a lot of touches in the post or like one-on-one touches in the first half as compared to the second half. Maybe I just overlooked it. In the second half, I know, especially early in the third, he was pretty aggressive and started off making like his first 2 or 3 shots. 2 of them were threes, I think. He's got he's a good player. Everybody. It's crazy how fast and athletic both teams are. But again, size thing I think was one of the biggest differences. In the end. But
before the guys are getting ready to hop on here, before they jump on, I did want to say one thing. My stepson, he had his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to Braxton. Shout out to you, buddy. And something else I want to throw out there on his behalf, and he's on a travel baseball team, Southwest Virginia Static. They are trying to raise money for like uniforms and stuff. So if anybody wants to make a donation to his uniform, just go out there and you can go to my personal account from the Porch Talk page, and I have that shirt on there. The way they do it is, it's donating money, but they kind of allocate it to like maybe you can put $10 towards a helmet, $10 towards or a belt or whatever. So just want to throw that out there. That travel baseball team, they're doing good work, and he's a heck of a baseball player. I think I could see him playing, hopefully in the MLB one day. I mean, he's got a drive there. It's special. But we're going to go ahead and invite some of the guys on here, and we'll see where this conversation ends up at.
Council's girls got their 11th win tonight.
They've been playing great.
I'm sure we'll find out, but I bet that's. I wonder when the last time they had their girls team had double-digit wins was. But it's been a while.
We need a statistic guy. We need to hire on. Yeah.
Look at this shirt. I love it.
I can't even see the shirt yet. It hasn't popped up on my screen yet.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good shirt.
Oh, there it is. Oh, man. You were there for us? Yeah, I see it now.
It's honestly pretty graphic.
It is. I mean, we don't have any blood or anything.
The only thing missing is the blood on the shovel. But
for those of you that are just listening to the Spotify version, not the video, Thomas has a shirt on with Coach K. His funeral. Well, not his funeral. It was him at his burial site, and Ramsey's there burying him. So
you got the scores of the last 2 times he played us.
Look at that throwback hat. I love it.
Oh, man. All right. We'll get to rolling. What we'll do is, I guess the simplest way to do this, if we're going to talk about some of the basketball days for you all, would probably be to start chronologically, so that way it somewhat makes sense. And
no, don't worry about making sense. It's just
it's going to be really hard to scatter it all out.
I want
because I was going to say we could.
I don't know. Well, John, what was your first memory of basketball?
Well, I only played JV, so that should give you a hint. But my biggest memory.
You didn't play Little League?
I played kindergarten basketball for the Whitewood Indians.
So how was that?
Logan Cantrell.
Okay.
I remember nothing.
All right. A lot of some of the local people on some podcasts, the Whitewood gym is a big topic. But so you're too young to really remember what it was like playing on the old gym on the small floor.
I imagine we only did half court in kindergarten.
I mean, the whole court was a half court. So I tell
You
you,
can see the
I
whole
tell you,
court.
run full court there probably.
About the size of
I
the
remember
basketball.
the auditorium thing over there at the end, the stage.
That's okay. That's the part of the gym. Remember, all right.
Yeah.
Any of you
I
all play?
remember-
Any of you all played in that gym? Remember anything about it?
No, I never did.
I remember the auditorium. I remember there was a painting on the wall, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Big Indian. Yeah.
Yeah, big Indian painting. I remember that. I remember it was super tiny. I don't remember actually playing basketball there. I remember my kindergarten graduation there.
We
Other than
played
that, that's all I have for it.
our little league games there. It was you had the timeline wasn't the time like you had. Well, you had to half court. You had 10 seconds to get across half court, but then instead of after that back court violation wasn't half court. It was a volleyball line on the other on the other side because you literally took 2 steps and from 3-point line you were across half court. So that was hard to get used to. If a loose ball went out to half court, here you are trying to hurry and save it before it goes across, and really you have another, I don't know, 8 feet, maybe not that much before it actually goes back court. That was weird. The other unique thing I remember about it was where you had to check in and out of the games. You had to go and smack that box because they kept the books up on the little crow's nest thing above the floor. And y'all remember that?
Mm-mm.
Remember that? Okay. It was just, I mean, the bench was here. The bench was here. When you come to toward the check-in table should be at, it's in a box up way up above the court. And you had to kind of smack the side of the thing to get their attention to let them check in and out of the game. That was odd.
So was the back volleyball line like at the baseline of the basketball court?
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't know that it was actually a volleyball line, if that's what it was actually for or not. But there was a
Okay.
line there. It kind of reminds you of what a volleyball line would be now. That's kind of where it, kind of what it was. And then I guess that's how they played their high school games. There was back court. But people's not exaggerating when they say you can inbound it, take 2 dribbles, and be within range. Like it's not that crazy to think. There's a reason they scored way up in the hundreds.
I think they had the longest streak in the state of Virginia at one point of 100-point games or something.
Yeah, I mean I don't doubt it
Wow.
one bit. Yeah, it's
That is
literally
pretty well.
That's crazy.
A good solid 2-handed chest pass is a full length, full court. I mean, ain't no hollow. You don't have to throw it hard to get it there.
Yeah, I mean, inbounding it and being 2 steps within range, like you said, that's like you at the BBF gym.
I mean, that's basically what the floor was.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it may be a little bigger than a BBF gym floor, maybe.
J-Mar's in range
If
when
that
he goes
puts it in
past the
perspective,
concession
it was a little
stand.
wider, but
Yeah.
but anyway, we'll get into some other stuff. Well, Rusty, when did you start playing basketball? Did you little leaguer?
No, I didn't really start playing until 8th grade. Thomas's brother Carter was my first basketball coach. So that's really 8th grade basketball was the first time I ever played ball.
Okay, so that was that JV year when you hit the buzzer beaters we were talking about in the group, or
That's 9th grade.
that 9th grade?
As a good moment.
Run us through that and tell people that story.
Well, shout out to Sean Hilbert for missing a game time. A game time.
He's getting excited. He dropped his phone.
Get excited, man. Well, shout out to Sean Hilbert for missing the game time field goal or a layup. Put it into overtime. We were playing Grundy, and for whatever reason, it was I don't know if P. Wade had. I know the first quarter was the starters. The second string was us guys was on the bench. The third quarter was the. John's like, yeah, it was me. The first stringers went back out in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, for whatever reason, the bench guys went back in. So we were in the fourth quarter. I don't know why Sean was in. I'm pretty sure Sean started, but he missed the layup, and it was like right there at the almost right there at the end of regulation. And I put it back up and it put us in overtime. And then for whatever reason, P Wade left us bench guys in for the whole entire overtime quarter. And again, Sean was bringing the ball up past half court and got trapped. And I guess he just dished it off to me because I was the closest one, and I just shot it at the 3-point line and made it. And man, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Listen, guys, I don't know. I know John was out there. Yes, he was pretty excited when he was telling that. I want y'all to know that when he hit that shot, he was jumping up and down, going, hitting his chest and throwing his hands up in the air. I mean, I thought confetti was going to fall out of the ceiling. I mean, it was insane. It was like the championship. I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
The reason,
it was wild.
I think the reason that P Wade let all of us bench guys play is that was like one of those holiday tournaments, the prestigious Caulfield Clash. And for whatever reason, as the JV team, we had 2 games that same day, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I think we lost the first one. That put us into the losers bracket.
Yeah, this one didn't go against our record or anything like that. I remember P. Wade saying that. So,
well, your buzzer beaters still counted.
Oh yeah, I mean it was nice.
Yeah.
I mean it felt good.
It don't make any sense why it did go on your record.
I don't know, but it didn't.
Go ahead, Cam.
Well, I was just gonna say. So, was your the points you scored, John? Were they in JV? Were they in that tournament when you got those?
No, mine took. I think I scored 2 points in my freshman year. I don't remember that one. Because I was gonna score so many more, I didn't try to remember it. And then my sophomore year, we were playing at Haysi in Sand Lick, beautiful Sand Lick, and I got a rebound. And I remember throwing bows at this one kid, and they called a foul, and I was pretty sure it was going to be an offensive foul on me because I was just out of control. I was a monster. And they called a foul on that kid I elbowed in the face. So, whatever. And I went to shoot my free throw. I was a good free throw shooter. That's one thing I could do. P. Wade told me one time I'd be our designated free throw shooter if anybody got teed up. That never happened.
That's not how that works.
Whatever. Anyways, I made the first, and then P. Wade yells, 11, 11. We're down 30 at this point. So, if I got the offensive rebound, I guess I could have came back and won the game there. But I missed it being a good teammate, and we still lost the game. So that put me at 3 for my career, and that's where I ended.
That was your famous floater, too, that game.
I thought the floater was in a summer camp. I was against
No, you done it. You done it at Haysi. I know.
It might have happened multiple times.
I think
that thing sailed so far. Like,
I think it was the same gym, but I think it was a summer camp.
Tongue was out and everything. Like you just like
on that one, there was this really athletic kid compared to me anyway. So he was probably just like anybody else. And I was afraid that he was going to like LeBron me off the backboard. So I was like, okay, I'll do a little finesse here. And I got a little too finessey. And it went over the backboard a good like 12 feet. I think it ended up in the river.
I will say that was the fastest I've ever seen any player on the basketball court. When you were leading that fast break, you were so far ahead of everybody else. And I think the floater actually went up around the free throw line instead of just going up for the layup.
Maybe I thought I was MJ. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty close. At least you didn't take the ball the opposite side of the court. Like whenever somebody inbounded me the ball. This was my 8th grade year, and like I took it the opposite direction, and like I was
you were
gone.
booking it. I don't think you even dribbled.
Nobody was around, and I was like, "What?" Like I know I'm not this fast. I know for a fact. And I took it, and I think I missed the layup. I don't remember if I made the layup or not. And then everyone's just looking at me, and I realized that I was shooting on the other team's goal. And P Wade just shook his head at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know.
He's
Did
wide open.
anybody have the word finesse on their bingo card for tonight? Because I didn't.
No.
I knew John was coming on, so my bingo card was all over the place.
Cameron, are you the only one here that's never scored in a JV or varsity game?
Yes. Now pickup games. Now I got a few.
I don't
I got a few 3-pointers over at council.
You made a couple. You made a couple there at the high school too when we were playing there.
Yeah, yeah. Some brief moments of fame, I guess. Something
your
like
jump
that.
shot looks better than your golf swing. I'll give you that.
And my golf swing's coming around. The last time we played, we wasn't that bad. We came away with the W.
It's true, we did.
Yeah. Only because I was a part of a good team, but I'll tell you.
Thanks, Logan. I wasn't gonna say anything. Thanks.
So, Thomas, bounce around to you, and I'll bounce to Logan after that. We shot on it with John and Rusty playing Little League and stuff. Anything from Little League that sticks out to you? Memories either playing or even watching your brother play? Because I know y'all went through. At that time, the high school teams were really hitting it on all cylinders. Jamar and them. So just speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, you really threw a lot at me there. That's Little League, Carter, Jamar, my basketball career, Carter's basketball career.
I knew you could handle it.
Yeah, my career started at Russell Prater, the Russell Prater Pirates, in kindergarten, I believe.
I love that gym, by the way. Go ahead.
Do you? Yeah.
There's another small gym.
Yeah.
It was very small. Yeah. But
And
yeah,
I love
there's
that
not
the
much to say there.
cafeteria was right there on the.
Yeah.
Like,
Like the bleachers were in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
To watch the gym. Yeah. It was pretty cool. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. What I don't understand about my Little League career is it was like my whole Little League career, we were a really good team and we were like beating everybody. And then I got to high school and it all stopped and I don't know where it went. I don't know where all these players came from that were so much better than us. But
Twin Valley's Little League football program. Hook sounds like.
yeah, but
Now we're
yeah,
getting
so
depressed and we got
I know, but I did get to watch some really good teams growing up. It was really peak Twin Valley High School. I feel like watching Jamar and pretty much from like '06 to 2009. 2010 was pretty solid too. The bleacher bums, the crowd was there every night, really loud. It was hard not to be in love with basketball, going to games like that with all the passion and the energy and noise. And then a few years later, you realize if you stop winning, the fans stop coming.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, but yeah. But yeah, well, that was depressing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
basketball's
great.
great.
Yeah. Well, not to continue the trend or anything, but yeah, pretty much the same question to you, Logan.
Well, like we said earlier, I was John and I graduated from, or we didn't graduate. We were the last class that went to Whitewood. So we started Little League there, and then I don't think John ever played again until JV, but played Little League all throughout middle school and high school. Got to varsity my freshman year. Still had Smith to hang on to a little bit there. That was fun. And kind of like Thomas said, we grew up when I remember vividly listening to the Dockery podcast the other day talking about the snowstorm after that game. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember we were on our way home and my grandpa like turn the high beams on just to see what it really looked like, and you couldn't see anything. Then all the heartbreaks at state, the big games. You really just growing up in that environment, you just cannot wait to get there and be a part of that one day. And then we got there, and then we weren't a part of that. Really let everybody down on that one.
One thing I wanted to ask, well, it mainly be for Thomas and Logan, I guess, but Rusty, you and John can name it off too from JV if you want. I got a feeling y'all won't remember as much, but who? Because I come to watch a lot of games, but who were one of the better players you all played against in your time in high school?
Logan, you want to go first?
Yeah, there was Tyler Tipton from Hayside. He was really good. Who was they had what was the other kid from Hayside's name?
Hunter Sutherland.
Yeah,
I played well. I think I don't know if I ever played against him. I think he was behind me.
Oh yeah.
Peyton O'Quinn.
Yeah.
Josh Fires played against him. He was good.
Bub McCoy.
Yeah, Bub played against him a little bit. Austin, Tyler, Wayne. We had that great rivalry with him. That was probably the highlight of it all.
Yeah.
Never
Westpac
had an
was a good player.
Experience or anything like that to play against anybody too great, but yeah, we played there. We played against some pretty talented players. I feel like.
Anybody else?
Josh Byers, definitely. Hit like 10 threes at Council when we were in JV. Like in one game. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cam. You got any questions?
No, I was just gonna. I didn't know if John had one. He was smiling pretty big, so that's something that came to mind.
I'm just Goofer.
I don't know if y'all listened to Smith's podcast with Travis Byers, them on the Southwest Hoops.
I saw.
But apparently, there was a time there where he must have thought about transferring to Hurley or something. Is what I took from that. Did y'all get any of that? Listen to it.
I know that.
He said it.
I listened to that. That would have been something.
The way he talked, I mean, I don't know if it was ever really serious, but you have to go listen to it to get like his words for sure. But it sounds like the way he said it, there was some conversations there, maybe that last year, I guess, of going over, which got me to thinking if you all, when you all were in high school or your senior year, whenever your prime year was, if you had transferred somewhere else, where would it have been?
I mean, Hurley's the easy answer, but I would never say that.
I probably would have gone over to Hayside was pretty close to me, and they had some pretty good players. They had a really good team at the time I was going through there. I would say because they had Hunter Sutherland and I don't know the other kids' names that well. The one kid that was their quarterback and had a really tall kid, but they were a really good team when I was coming through. They had state aspirations and they would have been pretty close to me. So I probably would have gone to Hayside.
I'd probably say Honeacre, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Honeacre has such a good athletic department, I guess. It's like every year, every sport, every level is really consistently good.
Yeah.
It always has been that way since I was growing up. I mean, I know this is a Honeacre heavy podcast lately, but I remember I blame Honeacre a little bit for I thought we were good in Little League and then got a little bit older and I realized we weren't good. I blame Honeacre for that. I feel like there were kids that were there for 15 years playing varsity and JV. Like they were kids like in 8th grade, like driving to the game and with beards and chest hair.
I don't think people talk about Honeacre enough, how great they are at everything. If I had to transfer somewhere...
You don't listen to this podcast very much, have you?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I know Cameron and Jamar do, but like they need their own podcast. If I had transferred anywhere, it would have been to Mount Mission because they had an A team and a B team, and I feel like the B team was my real calling. So that's where I would have went.
That's so out of left. I did not expect you to say
I
that.
thought, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting that for some reason. I just had a feeling I was going to say Mount
I
Mission.
was.
What about you, Rusty? Any particular place that you could have transferred to? In
Probably
football, football
I
or
sucked at
basketball,
everything,
either one.
so I mean, I sucked at everything. So I don't think I probably my calling was from Valley. So I
Well,
mean,
you did transfer once.
I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah,
did.
transferred to
And then
the
I
good
couldn't
old
make it
Christian
there
school.
either.
Get back
I
to
couldn't make it
that.
there either.
Yeah, I'll never
They were
forget.
like, "No,
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah,
make
we don't need you
the
here."
outdoor
listen,
court
listen.
beside the 4-lane team.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I played with those kids out there, and there was some ballers out there.
Hey, John
Yeah.
went
When
there.
I
I don't
was
know.
there, there were some good ballers.
Yeah. I'll tell
Hey,
you
was
guys, I
that?
never. Well, I'll never forget the day that Rusty came back to Twin Valley. It was like at lunchtime, I think, or at one of the breaks. Everybody's freaking out. I said, "Whoa, Rusty's back! Hey guys, Rusty's back!" And we went over. We saw him in the in the office, and he came back from the Christian school and stuff like that. So I thought when you came back in, I thought you was gonna be in a nice like button up like polo whatever, and you came back in and you had a big demon on your shirt, and it was a big like I don't know, it was like an ACDC shirt. I'm not sure what it was, but I'll never forget that.
Wasn't no wading back in. It was up head first.
One of y'all should have came and smacked me right in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So a question we ask a lot of these high school kids that come on: pregame music. What was y'all's go-to?
I had a weird. I don't know. I kind of went
I know what yours is,
back and
Thomas.
forth.
One of them.
You do?
Well, unless it's changed. You told me one time, and for some reason, every time I listen to that song, I think that this is what Thomas listened to before a game.
Wait, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking of Evanescence.
Oh
What's that
yeah,
song called?
that was Bring Me to Life. That was in the rotation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I was in the rotation.
so
List.
right. So I used to try and get like pumped up for a game, listen to up tempo music, but then that was never my style. I'm never like a high strung person. So I started going more for like getting in the zone. You know the song Let the Drummer Kick? Probably not. It's a really
I
it's
think I
like a
have.
it's like a
I feel like
slow
I've heard
song with
that.
like this piano, like a piano beat. I always listen to that right before going out.
Who's next?
What about you, John?
Well, one thing that would always get me in
Should
the
have saved this for
zone, in the zone to hand out cups of water to the guys who were playing. And one constant throughout my life, even through some of the controversies of late involving this individual, has been Kanye. I always loved some Kanye.
I didn't know there were
So,
any I didn't know there were any controversies with Kanye.
Let's talk.
What's
Let's talk
Kanye
about
been
him.
So.
my profile picture on Spotify is Kanye and another not controversial guy who used to be the president shaking hands.
Mm.
I thought you were going to
Oh,
say Alex Jones or something like that.
I mean, I
yeah.
also love
Or
Alex
AB.
Jones, but Kanye
Yeah.
didn't show his face on that
Yeah.
one.
You also had Antonio Brown. I think that he was when he sitting beside Antonio Brown at some big game or something that he had a mask on.
I mean, probably. Like, you could
Yeah,
tell
I
me
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think
Kanye
so.
did anything, and I would just believe it.
Any particular song that got you going, or you just
I like
any-
Power off My
Okay.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That's a good one.
It's a classic album.
Yeah.
It is.
What about you, Logan? What do you have?
I had a list of like, I think it was like 12 songs or something from my sophomore year to my senior year that I've listened to. I don't really remember what most of them were now. I remember Kobe Bryant was on there, obviously. Uh, I think All the Above by Mano was on there. Maybe I really don't remember anything else on there. It was mostly just rap, but those two really. All
Yeah.
the Above still
Yeah, I
one of my
tended to
favorite
lean
songs
towards
ever.
rap.
Dreams and nightmares, baby.
Was that yours,
Meek Mill.
Rusty?
Oh yeah. To give out water. That was what put me up. Dreams and nightmares.
Because I know we're not going to have an opportunity to do this. Well, if we do, I'd rather do it now. Jamar, what did you listen to before you came out?
It varied from year to year. Senior year was Eminem was always in there in the mix.
Yeah.
Some I want to think 50 Cent stuff. I'm not sure if that was college or high school. Probably high school. Uh, my senior year, Mike Jones was a big one. Um,
Who?
you know, College Park. And then just from rock stuff, AC/DC stuff like that. Um, but nothing really right before the game, like mainly on the way to the game. I wouldn't once I got in the locker room, I took them out and just kind of. I was more of a I don't know. I sit down, and just kind of got in like a zone type of thing. It's more than listening to music, especially my senior year. But my freshman year, it was right up until the game. I can remember like right before I had to take them out, I take it out. I would listen, but I guess I was never really. I don't know. It was more to it, like to the games and getting thinking about on the way there was more my music thing, I guess.
For me,
I
it
thought
was.
of another one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll throw mine in here in a minute.
Well, I was just going to say, for me, it was actually more of just trying not to think about the game. Because I think the more I thought about the game, the more nervous I got. But I had three that kind of stuck out to me, songs, and it was during football season. One big one for me was "My Time" by Fabulous and Jeremiah. I would on game days I'd get up and listen to it. Uh, I don't even remember when I heard that for the first time. I think it was during some highlight video or something. I think when we were at Liberty, if I'm not mistaken, we were at a football camp up there and somebody played it. And so that one kind of stuck with me. White Trash Millionaire, uh, I think by Blackstone Cherry, if I'm not mistaken. Me and Adam Quinley, he would pick me up from my house and we'd go to practice. And I don't know what it was, but that song and there's another song I'm trying to think of. But anyway, we listened to those two songs. Bad Company, that's what it was. We listened to those two songs on repeat the whole way to practice and the whole way back. And that was a big song that I listened to. And the one that probably sticks out to me the most was Can't Be Touched by, I think it was Roy Jones, maybe. Yeah, and that one stuck out to me a lot because out of all places, Montcalm, we were playing over there and when you went over there and you played the field, it's not anything disrespectful. It's just a very small area. Uh, did not expect their audio and speakers and stuff to be as impressive as what they were. But I loved playing over there. Their speakers and stuff was amazing. And they cranked that song out, and I've never heard it before. And I heard it before the game, and it was just, I mean, it was awesome. I don't know. It just got me going. So I listened to it before every game. And I think in that game, we ended up winning. And it was a pretty, I think it was, Logan, that was your, I think, junior year. I don't know if, I think we won that one, if I'm not mistaken. So those
It's
three in
hard to
particular, I
remember.
always had. I'm pretty sure me and you played on that team.
Well, got everybody. Anybody else left? Russ, did you say yours?
I thought of another one.
Logan
Yeah.
said he had one more.
Well,
Oh yeah, go
Jamor
ahead.
said Eminem, and then that reminded me of Lose Yourself. That was on there. That's just a classic. And then the one Cameron said with Roy Jones or whatever his name is, that one was also on there. That was a big one. I don't remember what CD that came out on. Like it was some kind of like game seat, like video game soundtrack CD or something. I want to say, That I remember that's the first time I heard that. And then another one was Put On by Jeezy.
Hmm.
I love nothing better than listening to Put On and then going and getting beat by 30. That just to let
Yeah.
your whole city down. It's the greatest.
Yeah. Hey, I will say about Roy Jones, that song with him. I don't know if you've seen the music video or not, but uh, like it got me like pretty fired up anyway. The song and the words and everything in it. But when you see the video, he's just sitting there in like a bulletproof vest, and he's just like rocking back and forth singing this song, and it looks like he's about to go into a big old like fight or something. I don't know, and I mean, it got me going. I felt like I was getting ready to fight with him.
Forever by Drake and Lil Wayne and
Mm.
Kanye and Eminem. I feel like our eighth grade year, or my eighth grade year, I feel like I couldn't get away from that song. Like it was everywhere. And anything by Lil Wayne, those like 3 or 4 years, I mean, it was constant.
Yeah, that's when that big album came out with him, wasn't it?
It was 2 or 3 albums, I think, that came
Well,
out.
there was one in particular though. I can't remember which one it was, but everybody was listening to it.
One of the Carters.
Yeah, I've been. I don't
Too.
remember. Yeah. Um,
Love
one thing.
Lollipop.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I tended to go more towards rap when it comes to basketball season. I think there was a song our senior year called "Control" by Big Sean, and it had Kendrick Lamar. I think J. Cole. I really liked that one. Uh, I remember listening to that before every football game. I can't remember.
That's when Kendrick dissed everybody on the whole song. Everybody was on that song. He dissed everyone.
Yeah, yeah, but that was a good one. Another one. But yeah, Lose Yourself. That was on my before basketball when I was getting into the zone. Lose Yourself was on there too.
I got a question for you all. I asked Chance earlier. When you all were playing, was there ever any talk about changing your all's run out song from
No chance.
Inner Sandman to something else?
No.
We couldn't carry on the winning legacy, but we carried on the Sandman legacy.
Yeah, maybe if we were really good and we're a new team, we can make our own traditions, but we weren't that team.
Just curious. I'll quit making
Yeah,
y'all
no.
talk about high school basketball now. We can move on to something else. I know y'all are
Well,
married.
No.
I still got a question. Not
Yeah,
necessarily
no.
about, it ain't necessarily in particular about high school basketball, but sports in general. I mean, it don't matter. Um, so for any of you, we'll just bounce it around. But Jamar had already asked some questions that we had asked to some of our guests before, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Maybe just some like motivation and stuff whenever you played. Like, is there anything in particular that you played with that was a motivating factor? Um, and I'll bounce down to Rusty first, and that's in football, basketball, anything.
Mm, just a motivating factor. Um, Playing time was a motivating factor for me in basketball. I mean, just getting out there, being able to play was good enough for me. And um, JV football, because I didn't play my 10th grade year or my 11th grade year of varsity. Um, I really have any motivating factors then either. But my senior year, the only reason I got to play was because Corey Lineberry got hurt. And we were like super close to making the playoffs, even though I think we won like 4 games that year. If we'd have won 5 games, we'd have made it to the playoffs. So there was motivation in that. And then when we got to Hurley, Corey came back, and we were going to make the playoffs, so they benched me. So that was kind of a letdown, but it is what it is.
What about you, Logan?
Uh, well, I mean, one of my earliest memories in life is watching the Western Conference Finals in 2000 when Kobe crossed over Pippen, and through the Lobster Shack. I was at Disney World with my family. I was 5 years old. For some reason, I know why. My grandpa is a huge Lakers fan. We stayed up after everybody went to bed that night. We watched the game in the living room in the hotel. But I always played. Kobe was always my motivation. Just the killer attitude and just wanted to be the best. I know Jamar said that we're going to quit talking about it because we're obviously miserable. I just wanted to be known, like, I did enjoy basketball. It doesn't sound like it, but I had a love for basketball at a very young age. I spent many nights in the evenings and growing up in the backyard, doing the 3-2-1, hitting the buzzer beater to win the NBA championship. So I don't want it to come off like I hated basketball. Y'all know I like basketball. It's hard to talk about a bunch of 10, 15 win high school seasons. We had a lot of fun, but we weren't very good. But yeah, for me, it was Kobe. Today's the 4-year anniversary of him. Him being in that helicopter crash, and that's one thing that I don't think I'll ever forget. Kobe's just the way he was. There was a quote like, if Kobe's in a fight with a bear, you should pray for the bear. Whenever I remember, I was at my dad's house and the notification from Bleacher Report came across my phone, and it said Kobe Bryant killed in helicopter crash. And I thought, like, my first thought was there's no chance that Kobe would get killed by a stupid helicopter crash. Like, he would jump out of it and like live somehow. Like, that's just who he was and like how high I thought of him. So yeah, I would say he was. I don't have any sappy story about whatever. It's just I just really like Kobe.
Yeah, that's a good one. Gosh, I remember when that happened. I almost looked at it like this is some fake thing that somebody's putting out there. You see that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Until I saw everybody start talking about it, then I was like, "Oh crap, this is real."
Even
I remember exactly where I was.
Where were you, John?
Same here.
You go ahead.
I just remember like seeing like the video of the helicopter like burning or whatever, and like I remember thinking like there's no chance that he was on the helicopter. Like he would not have been on a helicopter that crashed.
Yeah,
but
you'd almost imagine he would just
go ahead.
I was like, you'd almost imagine he'd just jump in the pilot's seat and take over.
Yeah,
listen, if you can't do it any better than that, I'm going to do it myself. Because I'm just the type of guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when it happened, I was sitting in my daughter's room. Like Logan, I think I was scrolling Facebook or something and saw it. And, it was just, you didn't believe it until other stuff came out that confirmed it. And I remember when he died later that night, I think like Bill Simmons or somebody had tweeted that was in 2020, that he was one of like only 3 NBA MVPs that had died. And he had been retired, like 4 years?
Wow.
So just a really sad moment for the basketball world.
Thomas, motivation whenever you played sports, basketball, football, anything, what's some motivating factors there that you had?
Yeah, to keep with the current mood, one of my biggest regrets when looking back at basketball and high school sports is I didn't take it seriously enough. My motivation was not great. I didn't have a lot of it. I wanted to look good while I was out there, eat somewhere nice after the games, whatever. But like Logan said, I did care. I mean, basketball was my entire life. Growing up, I played every year from the year I was 4 to 17. So, and then, well, beyond that too. But yeah, motivation. I just didn't want to. I really just didn't want to let anybody down. I think when I was out there, I wanted to make sure, like, I wanted to where my motivation was, I guess I don't totally know, but I didn't want anybody to be able to say like, well, he didn't try or he didn't help his teammates or he was a bad teammate. Uh, I think I always did see the big picture well as far as a team unit. That was probably my motivation. I don't have as good of a story as Logan did, but
I get it. John, what about you? The time that you played, and that could be, I mean, anything. Uh, what motivation did you have with you?
I mean, like Rusty, I just wanted to go out there and show that maybe I should play more. Unfortunately, I was never able to do that. Like Thomas said, I wish I'd taken it more serious. I wish I'd tried to play varsity. I wasn't great. I might have been cut, but I wish I'd at least given it a chance. But I think whenever you do anything, if you're a competitive person, I don't think any of us are like Michael Jordan competitive, rip your throat out. But I mean, for me, something that I'm good at and I know I'm better at than other people, I want to beat them. I want to just show them, like, hey, you suck and I'm better than you.
Good motivation.
yeah. I have a
What you
I have
got,
a
Jim?
question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You can go on with Jamar. Yeah.
No, you can go ahead. Go and ask yours. See what I'm interested to see what you got to say.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna ask. Uh, I was just gonna ask for the next question. I guess especially Jamar and Logan. What high school players, local players you guys watched when you were younger, and coming up that like inspired you or you thought or really impressed you at least uh, when you
I
were a
know
kid and
on my end when I was like, I remember watching my Uncle Jeff play, but I was only like 6, probably his senior year, 5 or 6. But I can remember it, and I can remember watching him play in college. But the older I got, the more when I really understood, like more about it. I remember watching Neil's team play, and remember them being good. Him obviously, and Mike Ratliff that played at Council was good. Then you had Brad's team and Ryan Rasnick. I always thought Ryan Rasnick was the greatest player ever because he could do like everything. Brad was obviously, it was at that point, at that time in my life, I hadn't remember ever seen anybody 6'9" that could shoot like that, like in person yet. I remember thinking, watching that was amazing. That's really only like Garden had some good players that PJ Bailey and that was pretty good when I was growing up. But mine was mainly my family. Like I played so much, or I might not play, but I was around the dad and them when they played pickup ball 3 nights a week. At at the old Garden gym. Like those were the dudes that I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. Looking up to all them, that was kind of more my goal was to be good enough to play in the pickup game at with the old guys. Is kind of where my head was at.
how
I
about
mean,
you,
like I said
Logan?
earlier, I remember watching Jamar when I was, it's crazy that we're sitting here now, because like back then, to me, like that was what you strive for. I remember watching like it felt like Kent would run off like 17 screens and shoot a three from the volleyball line, and it was just automatic. Every time he shot it, you just held 3 fingers up because you knew it was going in. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, KT. I was telling somebody the other day about KT how good he was. Like he just, just a pure athlete. And then obviously, the group after that with Garrett and Smith and all those guys. Loved watching it. Absolutely loved it. Every second of it.
Yeah, I remember when I think about that team, I don't remember Kent missing a three. I don't remember
No.
KT committing a single turnover. Like it's just when I think about those players, and Jamar, of course,
You must have missed that last.
VHSL
You must have
player.
missed that last game of the season because none of us did anything.
Well, I try to block that one out.
Cole, you Talk about co-BDD Player of the Year, Jamar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not that impressive,
But,
really.
yeah.
When you,
I'm sorry.
when you really think about it. I mean, when you really
Those
think about it,
teams.
it wasn't that great.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it. That entire team. I mean, Baldwin, of course. Logan Shortridge was a good hustle guy. He really played the game the way it's supposed to be played, I think. But then around, I guess a little bit before that, I remember thinking of like Matt Belcher, watching Matt Belcher and guys like Derek Keene. That Derek Keene didn't get as much
Mm-hmm.
playing time as I felt like he should have. I loved watching him play, just going out
Yeah.
there and giving it all he had.
I agree with that 100%.
Just the defense he played, the unselfishness that he played with. I loved watching Derek Keene play. Yeah, and then
Alex,
around
too.
the
You remember
county,
Alex?
I remember Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked watching him, too.
they had some good players on that team. This is ridiculous.
I got a question for for everybody, but I'll kind of slightly alter it a little bit with John and Rusty. But I guess I'll start with Thomas and Logan first. I want to ask just your opinions, not their coaching or anything, but just maybe talk on a little bit like Coach Moore for you and for Thomas and Logan. Talk on Coach Moore just a little bit and maybe share a funny story that if you have it. And John, Rusty, we'll get to you all here in a second with P Wade. We'll go ahead and start with you,
Hey,
Logan.
fellas, I hate to do this. I got to go. I'm going to go to bed. I got to get up in 4 hours.
Huh.
I was going to try to get through as much as I could, but since the gang's all here, I'm gonna hop off early. But appreciate y'all talking a little bit of basketball with me. Make me do it.
I'm only
Heck
talking
yeah.
about you after we leave.
Well, I'll be sure to go back and listen to all the lies y'all tell. But I sure do appreciate them. I'll go ahead and thank you for them now. But yeah, I'll holler at y'all later.
Thank you.
See you,
See
Mark.
See,
you.
bud.
See
Be
you,
good.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.
All right, Logan. Yeah, just your just talk on Coach Moore a little bit. The coach he was with you guys, and then also maybe a funny story or something you have that you can remember.
I only have good things to say about Coach Moore. He was always great to me from the time, I guess, 7th, 8th grade. Right before I came to the high school, or right before I would start playing in high school. Super intelligent. Really knows the game. The thing I liked about Coach Moore is on certain plays, he would give his players if you saw something else, it was okay. You didn't have to, follow the play exactly. If you saw something else, he was, he encouraged you to, take or he would give you let you choose, which way you wanted to, which side did you feel more comfortable with the screen being set on, or just something like that. Very high basketball IQ. I hope he doesn't hear this. I would hate for him to know people say good things about him.
Yeah, we don't want that.
As far as funny stories, Jamar and I were talking about this when we went to that game. Moore had a lot of good one-liners. The funny stories that I have are, so many good one-liners. But most of the funny stories I would say I have would probably be from Coach Smith. And you just can't really say a lot of those on a family-friendly podcast. But just know that's one of the funniest human beings I've ever met in my life. But I did play for P Wade. I guess JV. My JV year I played for P Wade, and he had the classic "This Is My Life" speech that he heard Moore gave like 2 days before that, and he had to copy it. That was, and then he punted balls into the crow's nest. I loved it, every bit of it. That dude, listen, that dude loves the game. Some might even say it was his life. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good time. Like I said, I genuinely did enjoy it.
Well, and we'll get to P Wade here in a second a little bit more, but Yeah, for sure, he loves the game. We had him on a few weeks ago, and I know you guys, some of y'all had talked about it already. Uh, Man, he knows so much about a lot of the local coaches around here, the environment around here, the athletes that came through, and he's been fortunate enough to be at a lot of programs with a lot of um, greats, as you would say, as far as coaches and or even players. Um, but Thomas, what about you, Coach Moore? Or, I mean, any coach, I guess, really, but just maybe a funny story and some memories there.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about Coach Moore. Uh, he, I want, I'll start like on a positive note. uh, I went into every game my senior year. We finished probably like 8-22 or something. Like we weren't a great team, but every game that we played that year, he made me feel like we had a chance, and I think that deserves a lot of credit. Uh, the way he was, I mean, motivation is so much of coaching, I feel like. And he really had us motivated for every game to think that we really were going to win this game. And I went at every game thinking that. Uh, but the funny moments, I won't say, I won't say any names, but the he was so good at teasing his players. Uh, I think my favorite moment was we were in practice. We were running like a scrimmage, like going through plays, and one of our players missed a layup, and he came running out on the court, center court, waving his arms, blowing his whistle. And he said, "Give me that ball, give me that ball." I mean, none of us knew what was going on. We were like, "Oh crap, he's about to punt a ball again. Like he's really mad. He may send us home." Against the game, it's like, "Come here, come here." He said, "I'd like to congratulate so and so for his 1,000th missed layup." And he posed with the ball this way, and then he turned around and posed for pictures on the other side of the court, just in the middle of practice. And the best part about that story is that as soon as we got done laughing, like everybody like calmed down, we started to go over plays again. The very next play, somebody else missed a layup, wide open, no defense, and he did the exact same thing.
I think it even went to the turnovers too, didn't
He did. So the third one
it?
was somebody committed a turnover, and he did the exact same thing with 3 straight plays in a row. There was no break in between. Yeah, so that's probably the funniest memory I have of Coach Moore. But yeah, yeah, I would echo the P Wade's passion for the game,
Yeah.
and it makes me when I look back on it and I think of Coach Moore and P Wade, it makes me realize that I wish I wasn't so apathetic towards basketball and taking care of myself and being a good player, because knowing how much they cared about it and how little I cared about it. I mean, I cared a lot, but not enough to really try to better myself and be the best player I could be. And
Yeah.
I think they saw that too.
I don't think
Yeah.
you
I mean,
realize how much they
I
give up
kind of.
until you're out of school and
Yeah.
you're working and you got a family, and I mean these dudes never saw their families. Think about how much time we spent with Moore.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Games and scrimmages and practices and camps and all that. It's crazy. I mean, you have to really, really enjoy teaching and really care for your players when you're willing to do all that. I think.
Yeah. No. Whenever you guys played when we were in high school, his kids, I think they were in elementary school at the time, so it's not like he even. I mean, he didn't get to see him during the day,
Mm-mm.
uh, at school or anything like that. So yeah, it'd be extremely difficult.
Yeah,
Uh,
he my last game in the locker room, I remember him telling us, giving us a speech like to the seniors, like I want you to know, like no matter what's going on in your life, for the rest of your life, if you're ever in any trouble, you need anything, like you can always call me, and I promise I'll be there. And that's one person. I think there are some people that would say that and not mean it, but that's one person that I definitely believed.
You know, just continuing. We've hit on Coach Moore and Wade and stuff like that a lot. Rusty, I'll offer you the same question, but also not just them two, but even if you want to go into football with Krieger, I mean, however you want to approach it, but just the coaching. Um, Whenever you was in high school, the coaches that you had, um, how'd you feel about them, and maybe any funny stories? You should have plenty with Coach Krieger.
Well, the one I've been thinking about was actually a P Wade, and how many clipboards he broke just my eighth grade year. Uh, and then the ninth grade year, he didn't. I don't remember him breaking maybe a couple, because I'd say somebody got onto him, because he broke a lot of clipboards that eighth grade year.
Times were
Um,
tough, man.
but
Budget cuts.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget this. I don't. We were at the high school practicing, and we were just. I don't. John, you can elaborate some on this too, but I don't know what he got mad about. We were just practicing. I guess we done a play wrong or whatever, and he punts this ball and hits Katie Joe's picture smack in her face, like the big poster up on the wall, and like we're just all standing there. We like you didn't know, you wanted to laugh but you couldn't laugh. You just like, this man's pissed off. Like, this dude just punted this ball and hit one of the leading scorers in Twin Valley history, or the best
Greatest athlete
female
Twin Valley's
basketball
ever
player.
saw.
The greatest
Yeah,
human
he hit.
being.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, well that just
Please
happened.
don't fall.
Yeah. So that was I'll never forget that. But
I th-
yeah, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
you go ahead.
But P Wade, the one thing that about P Wade, y'all hit on it really well, is his passion, and he cared about us, and he cared about winning more than anything. Um, and it really showed. And and he did have, his different way of doing it by breaking 1,000 clipboards in one season. But at the end of the day, you knew that he cared, and that was a comforting feeling. It's like, all right, he cares about it, so we should too. But we really didn't care that much. We definitely didn't care as much about it as he did. But Krieger, I can't even go into some of the things about Krieger. Like, I'm not. Um, I no, I'm not even gonna get into that conversation.
Nah, Krieger's the best.
He's
He
awesome.
is.
I
He's
mean,
one of the
you
funniest
can't beat that
guys.
man.
Yeah. Well, all right, John. What about you?
I mean, y'all touched on a lot of it. P Wade and Moore both have. I mean, they're both obviously very compassionate people. They care about their players. They're passionate, or they wouldn't be breaking clipboards, getting technicals, and the like. Uh, I think you have, like Logan said, you put a lot of time into that, and basically for what you get paid extra as a teacher to coach, you're basically working for free. So like you've got to really care, especially to do JV or to do varsity in a down year period or whatever. You're doing that because you care about those kids, because you care about the game. So you're sacrificing family time. I mean, you're not getting home till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So you obviously have to care. One of the funnier P Wade stories I can remember, like Rusty was saying, that punting the ball. I'm pretty sure that was like a 6:30, 7 o'clock early morning practice on like a snow day.
It was on a Saturday, I think, or it was
Yeah.
definitely a snow day. I don't
I
remember
don't even
what.
think the lights were on in the
Y'all did
gym.
not want to be there.
No, I mean, I'm sure we messed up a drill or something. He punted that thing. Uh, like, that's a pretty big gym at the Twin Valley High School. That thing went all the way to the ceiling. We were at the baseline towards where that stairwell is, nobody ever used, and it went all the way towards the cafeteria. I can remember it. It looked like a punt at Cowboy Stadium or something. Uh, but I mean, Wade and Moore are both really good people. Uh, Brian Moore, I've told him this. He's the reason why I decided to become a history teacher. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that out loud, but I mean, an incredibly intelligent person about basketball, life, all that. And I think those people have obviously made an impact on all of us. And, at the end of the day, win losses don't count. It's what you put in people's hearts. And I think that's what they'll be remembered for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
there's so many
definitely left a good
lessons.
impression on all of us.
Yeah, there's so many lessons you get from a good coach and working as a team, being like an organized team sports. Uh, I think they can leave an impact that I know that they want to leave a positive impact, but I think they can leave one even greater than they realize a lot of the times. But,
Yeah, enough of an impact to not only affect you then, but also, especially in John's case, and I think in maybe some of our cases too, the trajectory of your life. I mean, where your career goes, and uh, maybe even the type of person you are as a family man and stuff like that. I mean, or even your political. The way you the way you think. I'll say this about more in a non sports related thing. Uh, Even though he may have had like maybe certain views, whatever, later on, but he always, for me anyway, he made me realize that when it comes to anything like news related, that there's always two sides of the story, and he always encouraged everybody there to, if you're on social media, follow something from here, follow something from there, get both sides of the story, and maybe you find the truth somewhere in between. I'm not sure now that there is a truth anywhere,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
I like
just you know,
I like to say two things. One, Coach Moore, for anybody listening, Coach Moore is still alive. This is not
Yeah, sounds
memoriam.
like a you.
this is
Yeah, we got
this is
this.
not an in memory of podcast.
This
This
is all
is
got to be cut.
he's he's still kicking, yeah, still terrorizing people. Coach Moore is still alive. The second thing is I can't not mention Coach Hagerman. Chris
Mm,
Hagerman was such a great leader, such a great person. Uh, I only had 1 year of him being my coach, and it was one of my best experiences from high school. Just a great man, and really cared about the kids. Just really, really cared about every single kid that he coached and taught. And I would have loved to have spent more time with him and had him be my coach my entire playing career. But
yeah,
yeah, Coach Hagerman's another great example of everything we've said.
yeah. Before
his
we go
football
off of
IQ
this,
was off
okay,
the charts. I could
yeah,
listen to him talk
for
about
sure.
football all day long.
Yeah. And
Another one was
I just
Coach
want to
Jones
echo
too.
this. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, definitely
Coach
Coach Jones.
Jones, man, he
Gosh,
was.
yeah,
Coach Jones was one
yeah.
of a kind.
Me and you played under Coach Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you remember that? Yeah, I
Yep.
remember one thing. Not, I'm going to get on Hagerman too before we go off of this, but one thing about Coach Jones I thought was always so cool, and not that it really amounted, I guess, to anything, but it was cool that every week, man, if you had say you had a good practice or you had a decent game, whatever, he would make these certificates and stuff. He'd be like, player of the week, Twin Valley player of the week, or whatever. And it wasn't anything that was given by anybody in administration or at a local newspaper or whatever. He would just do this himself
Mm-hmm.
just to make you feel special in that way. And I know it might sound silly now, but as a high school kid, it was kind of a little bit of like some recognition. You're like, oh, that's cool. Somebody's watching me and noticing a little bit. But one thing I'll say about Coach Jones, and I don't know if you remember this, Logan, if you were over there with us, or can't remember. You might have been, yeah, I think it's when I was in JV. You might have been in varsity. Uh, but Coach Jones had us over there, and I don't know who the other coach was. I don't know if it was some reason I'm feeling like maybe P Wade or maybe Beefy. I mean beefy. I don't remember, but we were separated in two different like drills or whatever, and one whatever group that was, we were very serious and stuff. And then here we had with Coach Jones, and you would think that the Coach Jones one would be very, very serious, but I think he had just this unique feel of how things were going, and he knew everything was kind of a little bit too tense. And heck, this might have been in varsity. I don't even remember when it was, but I do remember the events that happened. And he made all of us play this game to where we would get on the back of another player, and you'd be carrying. Like I said, because I was on the back, obviously, because I was small, but somebody would be carrying me around, and you and your partner as a team would be trying to pull other people off, and it was a competition, and whoever pulled all the other ones off, the one that was last standing would win.
Just like a
And
chicken
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know if he was doing that, or if he was there for that, but
that's probably JV. Then.
Yeah, for me, I guess it stuck out because it was just something so out of it was just out of ordinary. And I remember whoever the coach was, or whoever the main one was coming back and being like, "What the heck is going on? Like, what are we doing here?" I think whoever it was like ready to just jump down our throats because they thought we were just doing it. Coach Jones was like, "Man, you see this guy? Like, he just pulled him. Oh, man, he's so strong." And I think then they realized, okay, yeah, we're not going to question Coach Jones. But Coach Hagerman. Oh, go ahead.
I remember eighth or ninth grade. We had a JV football team that I played on. Either I quit or the team folded or something. But Coach Jones was the coach. And in high school, I mean, I was small like you, Cameron, especially in 8th and ninth grade. Like, I was the same height I am now, but like 100 pounds soaking wet. And Coach Jones had the idea to put me on the defensive line. And he told me, he said, as small as you are, just go out there, get on your hands and knees and crawl through the guy's legs. And I did that in the little scrimmage or game we had against somebody. I don't remember. Probably the only football snap I played in my life. And I got to the quarterback. I didn't tackle him, but I got to him before he handed the ball off. I mean, he was...
That Jones is the one that told Carlos Sanchez to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always like a fun-loving guy.
Said that, it was probably Coach Jones.
Yeah, I hope to love anything in my life as much as that man loved football.
Yeah.
And wanting everybody else to love it, like what you were saying, Cameron, with that drill. Like he wanted to make sure that everybody loved it like he did. Like to show everybody like how great it is.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of the same thing where you're talking about, John, with the can't do the line like that. I remember that because not only did he say that, Coach Hagerman was also one that would advocate for the bear crawling method. Not every time, but he would do the bear claws and his deal. I don't know if you remember that, Thomas, but the lineman, he would do that, and like they would bear crawl through. And I don't know, like I don't see anybody in the NFL, I guess, doing it that we noticed.
No.
But I will say that's two great coaches, and I will say when I coached Little League, I got some of my guys to do that, and we were very successful doing that. I don't know, there might be something to it, but I don't think you could do that in the NFL. You probably get stepped on or something.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I know everybody here knows how you feel about high school football. We know you think it's the purest form of sport. The best of the best. It's a different game. Single A high school football in Virginia is a little bit different than the NFL, I would say. I don't know if you could put that in Double A. When you've got more coaches and you've got players, you got to do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I feel you.
But if we see Nick Bosa going through somebody's legs this weekend,
yeah,
we'll know where he got it from.
Yeah, we know he listens to the podcast. I did want to say this before we get off because I do want to talk real quick before we get off here about the games this weekend. Uh, give our picks just real quick. But I do want to say, as far as Hagerman goes, I kind of just want to echo what Thomas said. He was God, I can't put it into words. He was huge for me my senior year. Um, not just my senior year, my junior year. Uh, being there for me in the weight room when I was doing track. A lot of people, I guess I could probably say I'm one of them, but I think not so. I ain't gonna say not so highly of track, but it's not like a huge thing like football, basketball, whatever. Um, but when I was doing track, I just my junior year going into my senior year, I was just a half step slow. I guess I was just trying to put on weight, and I was getting beat quite a bit doing the 100-yard and 200-yard races. And I expressed to him that, like, I don't know what's going on, coach. Like, something's going on. I'm just not as fast as what I was and all this. And he told me, even though track was not like football, whatever, he said, hey, listen, I see what you're saying, and this is how we're going to fix it. And he proceeded to tell me methods of how to fix it, technique wise, but then also to proceed to tell me that, hey, we're going to stay after this day to do this, and then we're going to watch some stuff on this. And I'm talking about like that next week. Not only did he just say that in the moment to make me feel good, but that week, him and Miss D started showing me people like getting out of their blocks or whatever, doing the 100 yards. And even to the point that he even showed me highlights of like RG3 at the time in the combine doing his 4-yard dash. And so, yeah, the effort and the way he cared meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to all the players and stuff that I think that he had at the time. And I mean, I think you can go on with his IQ and stuff. I mean, that was, you couldn't be around the guy without knowing about his IQ, but the way he cared for you as a player, the way that he cared for the sport in general, uh, was a big thing. Because I remember Thomas, we didn't know if he was going to play my senior year, and I remember very vividly the conversation that we had with Coach Hagerman, me and Shannon had, that we were going to go to your house, and he had made or was going to make a highlight film, and it was going to be defensive back highlights and stuff like that, and we were going to go watch these highlights and talk to you, and then talk to your parents, or even maybe at the same time, whatever, just to convince you to play, because he had like that plan for you, like he wanted you to be one of his defensive backs. I don't know if I've ever told you that before or not, but that's just how much he cared. I mean, he wasn't just okay with which we had 40 some players to start out that year, but he wasn't okay with just 20 some or whatever that we ended up with. Like, he wanted to go and grab people because he saw potential in everybody.
How does it feel to be wanted, Thomas?
But
that sounds pretty sick.
It
yeah,
felt phenomenal, honestly.
yeah.
So I mean, like, you don't have to give anything away, but like, did Cameron and Shannon and Coach Hagerman show up did they show up like a little duffel bag boy or something? I mean, NIL
Didn't
before
have
They
the
to.
really,
school.
yeah, they didn't have to. It didn't quite come to that.
Okay, well,
It
I'm just
was
asking.
Hagerman was a big part of me playing that year, and he's one of the biggest. He also causes one of the biggest regrets of me not playing the prior years leading up to that. I would have loved to play for him longer and played football longer.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he was around earlier, I think.
Yeah.
But like I
Yeah,
said, I enjoy Coach Jones a lot. I wouldn't take that Coach Jones year back for anything. But yeah, Coach
No.
Hagerman,
Well, you're.
his football IQ is just off the charts, man. Just love listening to that guy talk about football.
Yeah. Well, playing with Coach Jones is a special thing too in and of itself
Mm-hmm.
because not. I mean, it's. I don't have to go into it. It's special.
Right? Yeah, we
Um, I want to touch on these games this weekend real quick
all
before I
right.
let y'all
Let
off here
Rusty
because it's
talk real
getting pretty
quick. I
late.
gotta take a break. Let Rusty talk
You're good.
so I don't miss anything important.
Well, the boss said it, Rusty. I mean, he is sponsoring the podcast, so I guess he just call some shots. So go ahead. We'll hop on there with the AFC. Uh, not to bring up any, bad feelings since your team unfortunately didn't make it through the first round. But I don't know if there's any hard feelings with the Chiefs or not. But who do you got between the Chiefs and the Ravens?
I think I got the Ravens. Just playing too good. Lamar's phenomenal. He's definitely, if he doesn't win the MVP, there's something wrong. I think he's definitely got it in the bag. Mark Andrews is going to be back this week. I hope that he can, come back. Hopefully he's coming back and he's healthy because I hate the Chiefs. And I hate Mahomes. And I'd love to see Lamar get him one. He deserves it.
Well, since you said all this great stuff about Lamar, I'm gonna kick it to the person that I know is a huge Ravens fan up there, Thomas. Go ahead and talk about what you think about Lamar and the Ravens.
I cannot express how much I wish that both teams could lose this game. If I had at the beginning of the year, if you asked me like who are the last two teams that you would want to see in the AFC Championship, I would have said I might have said the Steelers and Chiefs, but probably the Ravens and Chiefs. That being said, I think even though they're in division, I think I would rather see the Ravens win than the Chiefs. But it's not good. I don't have anything positive to say about this game. I really wish they could both lose, but I guess I really want the Chiefs to lose. Like Jamar Chase said, anybody but the Chiefs.
I do want to point out we put it in the group the other day. Um, Richard Sherman decided to share a piece of information I didn't know, but most of the past MVPs, when it came to scoring plays for their team, like how much, see I'm wording this right, but how much they contributed to the scoring plays of their team. Most of them had been like 70% and up, if I'm not mistaken. And Lamar was around maybe 50%. So I don't know how much that factors into what everybody thinks about Lamar. I think, me personally, I think they're going to win. Um, I think that their defense, though, is that's what drives that team. I think Lamar is playing the best he's ever played, but I think if the defense wasn't there, I don't think they'll be in the spot they're in right now. John, what do you think about that game? Who do you think's going to win?
Well, obviously, all the focus is going to be on the two superstar quarterbacks since the NFC title game just has two game manager quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Jared Goff. Um, but
Can confirm.
I think the defense is going to be the real focus in that one, like you said, Mr. Barbado. The Chiefs' defense, I think, has carried them all year. Travis Kelsey, who I drafted in the first round of our fantasy draft, has been. I mean, he had two touchdowns last week, which was great. But since he got with that blonde lady, he's kind of sucked. But I'm going to go. If I was betting on this game, I would take the under. And I'm going to pull for the Baltimore Ravens in a close one. I think this is going to be 23-20, right under that 44 and a half.
Hmm.
So, Purple Rain, baby. Prince. R.I.P.
This man
Well,
said
Logan,
if I was betting, and then he threw out the
yeah.
over under.
Yeah, he told us, just in case,
If it was legal.
Yeah. Um, Logan, I mean, it's hard to follow behind John with the Purple Rain comment there, but who
Yeah,
do you
I'm not
think's
gonna
going to
talk
win the
about
game?
Prince. I don't know the lines. I haven't been on a cold streak lately, so I've been trying to stay away from all that. Um, whenever we did our preview podcast, I think somebody said the Chiefs didn't have a chance to even be there, and then somebody said, "Well, if you're gonna until they can, you know, be beaten, I'm just gonna keep rolling with them." I don't really care. Um, if it's not about Dan Canales, I'm not really interested in it. But I guess since we don't play again until September, October, whenever it is, I think I'm with y'all. I think it's going to be a pretty heavily it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. I love watching both quarterbacks play. I know people hate Patrick, and I get it, but I like watching greatness. I would love if Bryce Young is not going to be it, you might as well let Patrick get a couple more and just add to his legacy. But I also really like Lamar too. I'm not going to be like Brady and say I called it whenever I saw that vine, whenever Lamar was in high school. But I'll say the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I picked them at the beginning of the year, so you dance with who brought you, just like the Jets should have done if Zach Wilson would have taken them to the playoffs.
I think that, which I had already predicted the Ravens to win this game, but I will say they made it far further than what I think. But I will also say that I think that this might be a hot take, but
No,
the
I think
matchups they got going into I'm just
no, you're right.
I'm just gonna say that I think this game they're gonna be exposed a little bit, and I don't think it's gonna be that close. I think that they got some very good matchups in the playoffs. I think playing Miami in a awful environment there with the temperature and stuff, and we all know we've talked about the record they have in the cold weather. That was bad, and then playing against Buffalo. Buffalo's defense had a lot of injuries. Not only that, but we've seen two sides of Buffalo this year, so you don't know which one is the real Buffalo team. But you're going up against a team now that, I mean, they're there, they're good,
legit.
and you're playing them at home. Yeah, and I could definitely see this game maybe being a 2-touchdown game. But I will say that if it is close, I think it's because Kansas City's defense more than the offense. And that's crazy to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that. Like
on
3
paper,
years
I
ago.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. On paper, I agree with what you said, but I just don't think the Chiefs can have a bad matchup when you look at their officiating history and the way that the officials and the way the league obviously does not like Lamar either. So I think the league needs the Chiefs to win, and with the officiating history, I would not be surprised at all if the Chiefs won this game.
Well, the league would
We
love
already
the
know
Chiefs
who
win.
wins.
Yeah.
You saw
Well,
the Super Bowl
right.
graphic, right? Y'all.
Yeah, I've seen
That's the Super Bowl
the
logo.
color of the graphic.
We
Yeah.
already
Tells
know
you
who
exactly
wins.
what's up.
Yeah.
It's all rigged.
That meme's been like so many months old. Like it's been on there for a while. But the the league wants Kansas City to win. They want T Swift and the Swifties in the Super Bowl. I said it is what it is. But
Who is
I will say
who's Taylor Swift?
I don't know. Some
That blonde lady.
Yeah, blonde lady.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
Comments
let us
below.
know. I will say this, and as much as it pains me to say this, and I'm not saying this to down the Bengals any at all, but I told somebody this yesterday that I think. I said yesterday. I said I think that this is the year if you want to catch the Chiefs. This is a year to do it because now next year they're going to get receivers. They're going to get them. Like it's not they know that's what they lack. They got the defense. They got a good running back. They got some good linemen. They're going to get some weapons to go with Kelsey and Rice. And I think it's going to be real hard to compete with him. No.
Pacheco is very good.
Yes, he is.
I love watching him run.
And,
He
well,
runs
Joe.
so mad.
Yeah.
Like he
He runs like he has some issues.
Yeah, the over on him every week is like a good bet. If we betted on this podcast. But
yes, if that was legal.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Burrow is 5-1 against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in his career. So
yeah.
Just leave that there.
I'm sorry, Thomas. I didn't mean to
I'm not worried.
It don't matter,
didn't mean to
boys. It's
trigger
all going to be
anything.
over next year, anyways. Yes, we can.
Here's a hot take
Dallas.
/ prediction about the future of Kansas City, okay?
Okay.
Andy Reid, he's getting up there in years. This would be his third Super Bowl if he won?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Not a healthy man.
He loves eating steak. I mean,
Never
that
missed a meal.
gets him in
Burgers.
my book. He loves eating anything. Frozen mustache and stuff. I think that took a toll on him. I think Andy Reid's going to retire this offseason. I've seen some rumors about that. And who's a free agent coach right now? Bill
Matt Nagy.
Belichick.
Matt Nagy and
Bill
Staley.
Belichick to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
What if Travis retires? I seen a rumor about that the other day.
Who cares? He sucks now.
I hope he does.
The future Sam Laporta.
Yeah. Well, I made a prediction months ago that the Chiefs regime, the core that they got, was going to fall. Maybe not this year, but eventually.
Yeah,
And,
Eventually, when they retire in 20 years.
No. No, it's going to be before then. And it's going to be a big thing because Taylor Swift and Kelsey is going to have an unfortunate breakup, which is going to send a lot of news and paparazzi in the locker room. And you know that's never good for a team. That's going to cause a lot of issues.
I think you have to have
Not saying it might not happen this year,
in
but
the locker room.
Yeah, I need to get some myself.
I don't think you can just be a
I mean,
Our next big hit's gonna be about Kelsey.
Yeah, well, Chelsea saw Taylor Swift in concert. I feel like if you've spent the money to go to that concert, you deserve media passes to anything connected to Taylor Swift.
It's all irrelevant. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Next year's our year, so it's fine. We'll just talk
Well,
about
it is a
this
golden year, ain't it?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
Well, we'll get over to the NFC side. I know y'all are excited to talk about that one.
Lions money
Particular team is playing in that one, so I don't.
The Cardinals.
Somebody's playing the Lions. I don't know. What did you say, Cardinals?
Yes. It's not a Cardinals jersey you have on?
No. So, go ahead, Rusty. Who do you think's going to win? Dan Campbell, Lions, or the San Francisco 49ers?
The Lions. The Lions are going to win.
Yeah, every one of y'all is going to pick the Lions. Anybody that's not a Niners fan will pick the Lions.
The Lions are going to win. Dan Campbell he's got them running through a brick wall, and they're going to take care of business.
Yeah. Eminem too. Y'all see that video?
Eminem's going to be there. He's going to come out. They're going to come
He's
out
there
to
for all of them.
Yeah. Eminem's going to score the first and last touchdown.
I don't think they get to pick what they come out to at our stadium.
It's Eminem.
Yeah.
He's going to score he's going to score their game-winning touchdown.
Yeah,
probably good odds on that bet.
Yeah.
Why not?
What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, the sports fan in me wants to say the Lions. I would love to see Dan Campbell win every single game he ever coaches. But I know that if the 49ers were eliminated and the Bengals were still in the playoffs, that you would be pulling for the Bengals. So I think the 49ers are going to take this. The Lions have been very up and down this year. It wasn't that long ago that they got beat handily by the Bears. So you never know with the Lions. I don't think they're ready. I think they're trending in the right direction. I do love Jared Goff and how he's kind of proved the doubters wrong, and I love Dan Campbell, but I think the 49ers are just too good. Their defensive line is absurd. Their linebackers are absurd. Defensive backs are a weakness, but I think the 49ers are just too good right now. The offense is so explosive.
One particular defensive back.
Yeah. Their offense is with Debo playing, their numbers are crazy. So I think it's their year. Maybe
Hope
next year
you're
for the
right.
Lions.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Logan, I know who you're gonna pick, but go ahead, tell us anyway.
Well, Thomas said if the roles were reversed and if it was a Bengals game, you would pull for the Bengals. I know for a fact you wouldn't pull for us because I talk so much junk to you. There's no chance.
That's actually not true.
There's
That's
no
actually not
Cameron,
true.
listen. Do not lie to
That's
me
not
on the
true.
podcast.
No, I tell you why that's not true. I tell you why it's not true is because, and this is a very selfish reason, but I want you all to get back to the playoffs because I want you all to host a game so I can go watch a playoff game with us playing you all for once because that's the only chance I'm going to get probably to watch a playoff game anywhere close. So yeah, I would pull for you, but not
Okay, but not
when
really.
y'all played
Like,
us.
not because
I mean,
we like each
kind of.
other and we have mutual respect for each other, but more so
Yeah.
just for selfish reasons. Okay, I don't want anything good
I will
to happen to
say.
you. I don't want anything good to happen to Christian McCaffrey. He's already got a great life. The Panthers are going to be paying him so much money for the next 12 years or whatever it is. Like, he don't need me to wish him well. He's doing pretty well on his own. I don't want y'all to win. You're going to win. I don't believe. I mean, I'm not. I think Brock Purdy's fine. Like, he's a better game manager than Jared Goff. I can't get behind Goff, man. I love him and him. I love Dan Campbell. Detroit. Yeah, we won't get into that. Heard it's really nice this time of the year.
Probably nicer than San Francisco, though. I'll say that.
Well, I guarantee it's probably raining in San Francisco. It's close to Seattle, right? We talked about geography a lot in the group earlier.
Well, it's on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick y'all. I can't do it. You're going to win, but I'm not going to say you're going to win.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty.
Covering the spread. If we were a betting podcast.
Yeah. If we were. John, what do you have?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this game. I think Kyle Shanahan, I think he's like one of those guys who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And like he has an obvious cheat code in Christian McCaffrey. But he's like, oh, I'm so smart. I don't want to get Christian McCaffrey the ball. And they almost lose to the Packers. So I don't like his flat bill hat he wears during games. Okay, I don't like that.
These are valid points.
Yeah, I don't like the hat either. I'm with you.
I'm about to change my mind.
Just bend it a little bit.
Also, it's been a really rough, since Henry Ford invented the Model T, I feel like it's been downhill for Detroit since then. I don't think Aretha Franklin's walking through the Motown doors anytime soon. I'm pretty sure she's passed away. R.I.P. And I think San Francisco, just a terrible city. They bowed down to China not that long ago. There's poop all over the place. There's not even streets in Detroit to poop on now. So I think the Lions cover. And let me pull this up here on this. You can get plus 270 if you were interested in putting money on the game. Let's take the Lions outright. I'm taking the Detroit Lions. They're going to beat the 49ers. The 49ers have a Pro Bowl roster, and they still almost lost to Jordan Love and the Packers because Shanahan's stupid hat. So give me the Lions and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Two really nice cities that everybody should visit, Detroit and Baltimore, in the Super Bowl.
Disclaimer, please don't visit these cities.
I'm pretty sure they don't let you conceal carry in either one of those, so please never visit them.
Did
Only
you
over.
see? Did y'all see the TikTok I sent y'all about Taylor Swift showing up in Baltimore?
I saw you see it. I didn't look at it.
Well, I think it's obvious who I'm going to pick, but I will say this. As far as last week's game, I said it before the game, we struggle with that type of offense. An offense that is patient with the run. They don't have to be dominant with the run, but they're patient. Because if we do end up stopping them quite a bit, they can't go away from it. Because that's when we are at our best, getting whoever into a passing game to where we can rush the quarterback and kind of dictate the game that way. If they're patient with the running game, which I think they will, that's why this game worries me. They got two good running backs. And then like Green Bay did and like the Vikings did on us, when you have those offensive coaches like O'Connell and the OC there, Johnson, I think from
Ben.
Detroit, like they're patient with the run and they build off of it, and that's something we struggle with. These teams that can do that and then throw outside the numbers. If you look at Jordan Love, like I think it was like mid game it was like towards the fourth quarter. Excuse me, they showed his numbers like throwing outside the numbers between inside the numbers, drastically different. So I think that's a concern for me. We struggle with that type of offense. With that being said, our defense, like they know, the defensive line knows that they got to show up. Like we've gotten pressures, but we've not gotten sacks. We've got to change that. There is one huge weakness on defense that I have preached about for 2 years now that Thomas can vouch for me because we preached about it when we were at the Cincinnati game. Ambry Thomas, he has had very few, but some good moments through the last 2 years, but he's still a liability, and they know they're going to throw away from Ward and attack him. It is what it is. So we know that's the game plan. Yeah, I'm sorry, Amber. Offensively, though, we do have the weapons. I agree. I think Purdy's going to have a better game this Sunday. Their defense is not, and I'm not saying the Packers got a great defense, but I think that Packers' defense is better than what Detroit's is. Their pass rush concerns me because of Aiden Hutchinson, but Purdy has been one of the best quarterbacks all year when it comes to throwing under pressure. And not to mention, it's not supposed to rain Sunday. So we don't get to see the slug, Brock Purdy. I'm hoping we get to see the MVP finalist, Brock Purdy Sunday. We'll see. There's a lot of slander going around, as Pat McAfee said. So I'm hoping he turns it into something positive. Guys, I'm just nervous. To be honest with you, if I'm being honest here, I'm nervous.
Should be.
I'm nervous.
Well,
Listen, I'm more nervous.
Nervous.
I'm very nervous. Like anytime Dan Campbell opens his mouth, like I want to run through a wall. Not for him, but he just makes you want to run through a wall.
I want to see you run through a wall.
yeah, the
We'll wait to see
football
how the game
gods are
goes.
weeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am confused why your entire defense is in the Pro Bowl, but you have like the worst rush defense in the NFL.
It's
What's
crazy.
that about?
No, I don't know.
It's
I mean, which
popularity
most of us done well,
contest.
but yeah, the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything to me, honestly. It's
Poor
not quite as
coaching.
much. Yeah, well, yeah, it's not as much of a joke as what the NBA All-Star voting is. I don't think. I think they're both pretty bad.
I
Well,
think the Pro Bowl is the biggest
Yeah.
joke in
It might be
All-Star
biggest.
games.
It's bad.
well, the game itself is, but
They
I
don't
seen a
even
thing-
play football in it. They play
But
little
I
It's
saw-
mini
flag
games.
football now.
They
I
play
saw
pin the tail on the
a,
donkey.
I saw a thing there yesterday that not the good Antetokounmpo or whatever how you say his name, but the other one was getting a lot of
Thanasis.
votes. Yeah, to be a starter or something in the All-Star game.
They just got confused.
Maybe that's what it is. But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm just hoping for a good game Sunday. If we do lose, I will hopefully put my pride to the side, and I'll probably pick Detroit to win, or I want Detroit to win. But it'll be a good game. We've all been well.
Get out of here with that humble stuff. Y'all are not going to lose to Detroit.
Nah, it's not humble. It's just being
Purdy's
nervous.
going to outmanage the offense. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. There's two of us in here. Sorry, John. Sorry, Rusty, but have felt that before. And like once you go there to that championship game, and you feel it,
Rusty don't want to
like
be
I'm
there.
telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. There is Rusty didn't want to go to the playoffs, so he didn't have to feel what we have felt. I'm telling you, it is something like I try to tell Chelsea about it, and she looks at me like I'm stupid. But when you get there and like your team's almost there to win it and you don't, it sucks. Like I'm
Hey,
28 years old.
I watched Blake Bortles almost beat Tom Brady in an AFC Championship game
That
a few
is
years
true.
ago. Okay?
Yeah, that was the best Jaguars team maybe ever. But been close. Yeah, I
I'll
don't know.
tell
We'll
you
see.
this. I'll tell you this real fast. If you get Niners Ravens, then they need to whoever the power company is in Las Vegas is charging their people too much money, I'm sure.
That's-
No,
They
they
need
got
to make sure they
competition up
got the
there.
power ready for the halftime show. Because Cameron and all those San Franciscan people got really upset last time the power went out, and Ray
It helped
Lewis
us.
got to do his little squirrel dance and his steroids, and they came out and won.
It helped us. We were down. It brought us
Well,
back.
whatever, I don't remember. But Beyonce's not going to be there. I think it's Usher or one of those guys that I don't know anybody that actually likes them, but they're going to do it. So
We got Reba singing the anthem, I think.
And
yeah,
Oliver
she's
Anthony, right?
cool. I watched Reba.
Well,
Stable
I
too.
mean, the power definitely should not go out in Las Vegas. I feel like they've had a lot of practice, and like you said, make a lot of money down there. AEP would be eating it up down there if they could supply that area.
I have no comment on
Um,
AEP. I think they're great.
Well, yeah, it's getting late. So we'll go ahead and close it up. I think Rusty, I've seen him doze off a few times. I was kind of banking on him
Listen,
falling asleep during the
Everybody
podcast.
check the group before we get off here.
I know you're talking about me. So. Why am I so close to the screen? I mean, I'm on my phone for one. That's probably what it is. It's usually what it is.
Hey, I tell you this though, your quality is the best with the phone.
I wouldn't go that far.
Huh?
The quality is always the best with the phone though. So, all righty. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Definitely have to do it again here soon. I feel like it's been a minute since we've done one, and we really haven't done one with everybody. I guess this is the first one. Well, the only person we like is Tyler. So if we get Alva's on and Tyler on,
That'll be
not.
If you see that,
miracle.
if you see that man, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know and tell him we want him on the podcast.
Yeah, well, I can assure you, I'm gonna have to have my editing tool on tight that night. I'm sure if we all get on here.
He'll be on his best behavior. Guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks guys, and I guess I'll send it on off here. So, see y'all next time. God bless.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Look at